Chapter 186. Inside the quilt, it was an orange-yellow world. An electric heater was emitting light and heat. Toru Watanabe was kneeling inside the quilt with his arms on the ground. Outside the quilt, the sound of footsteps gradually approached. "Why are you here?" Miki Kujo supported her waist with her left hand and held Toru Watanabe's cell phone with her right hand. She looked down at Rin Kiyono with an imposing manner. "Do I have the obligation to answer you, Kujo-san?" Hearing Miki Kujo's sneer, Aona Koizumi was afraid that they would quarrel, so she hurriedly explained. "Kiyono-san originally planned to go to the coffee shop to read, but we dragged her in and asked her to play games with us." Miki Kujo looked at the simple drawing of a double six on the table. There were only 3 oranges on it. The one representing Toru Watanabe had already been peeled by Huangzi. The white meridians on the orange were being pulled out one by one. "Apart from Watanabe, you can also sit with other people," Miki Kujo mocked. "I heard Koizumi-sensei say, if you bully someone, it's because you like them." "Kujo-san, do you like me?" "Yes, I like you. I like you so much that I want to make you into a doll and take you out every Daughter's Day to admire you." Rin Kiyono was unmoved by the murderous words. "Thank you, but I don't like you. So can you please leave? Do I have the obligation to listen to your orders?" Miki Kujo, who didn't intend to stay for long, walked towards the quilt. That was where Toru Watanabe was sitting just now. Huangzi snickered as he ate the oranges that were crystal clear without the meridians. Rin Kiyono was expressionless. Aona Koizumi's face was full of regret. She had let Miki Kujo in just now because she was afraid that it would be too obvious. If she had known that Miki Kujo would stay, she would have disregarded the teacher's face and persuaded Miki Kujo to leave. Miki Kujo looked at the seat and frowned slightly. "Teacher. What's wrong, Kujo-san?" Aona Koizumi snapped back to reality. "Has anyone else sat on it besides you?" Miki Kujo asked. Koizumi Aonai was shocked and panicked for a moment. She had never been in a relationship before, but she had heard that girls in love were very sensitive. Could it be that they were this sensitive? In the furnace, Toru Watanabe really wanted to remind Koizumi-sensei not to panic. Miki was just complaining that no one had sat on it before. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it. Speaking of which, why was it so hot inside the furnace? Toru Watanabe, who was kneeling, felt that his back was starting to heat up. Outside the furnace, "No one, just the 3 of us." Aona Koizumi quickly replied subconsciously. Rin Kiyono sighed slightly. She had originally planned to say that a man had sat on it before and asked Miki Kujo to leave. Miki Kujo nodded slightly and lifted the furnace. At that moment, Aona Koizumi, who was standing behind Miki Kujo, saw Toru Watanabe and sighed. Inside the furnace, Toru Watanabe, who was kneeling, saw a pair of beautiful legs in black pantyhose. It was very familiar. He knew how it felt when he touched it. He even knew the style and color of the underwear inside the pantyhose. He had personally put it on this pair of long legs before noon. The pantyhose was delicate, elastic, and extremely beautiful. Toru Watanabe's mind was filled with images of Miki Kujo's various poses. His body, which should have been heated by the furnace, became even hotter. "No, if this goes on, I won't be able to control my breathing." Toru Watanabe thought that at least the sound of his breathing and the airflow would be further away from Miki Kujo. He slowly turned his body. Miki Kujo sat on his seat. There were 2 teachers on his left and right. Rin Kiyono was the latest to arrive. She sat opposite Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe chose to sit in Aona Koizumi's direction. He exerted force on his elbows, knees, and turned his body. "Watanabe, you can do it." He started to sweat. Outside the furnace, Miki Kujo sat down and sniffed with her beautiful nose. It was the familiar fragrance of shower gel. She didn't take it to heart. The shower gel she used was very expensive, but the teachers of Kanagawa High School had a high salary. Moreover, Aona Koizumi and Huangzi were young female teachers. It was normal for them to be willing to spend money on their own skin. Huangzi almost couldn't hold back her smile. She smiled and called out to Aona Koizumi, who was still standing. "Aonai, come sit here." Okay." Aona Koizumi walked to her seat. "Kujo-san, do you want to play the game too?" Huangzi said. There are many punishments on there. You can punish Kiyono-san. Only then did Kujio Miyoshi notice that there were all kinds of punishments written in painted double-6 grid. She glanced at the punishments one by one. She found it interesting and laughed. All right. At this time, Aona Koizumi had already walked to her seat. She lifted the furnace and saw Toru Watanabe wiping his sweat with one hand on the ground. Why is his face facing this way? But I can't reveal any flaws. Koizumi Aonai's whole body trembled, and she put her legs in the skirt as naturally as possible. In order not to squeeze Toru Watanabe's living space, she put her legs together and bent them. Then, she carefully tidied up her skirt. In the places that the skirt couldn't cover, her little feet that were wearing fluffy rabbit socks twisted uneasily. If I knew this would happen, I would have worn more adult socks. The 25-year-old Aona Koizumi thought regretfully and shyly. No one noticed her thoughts. On the other side, Miki Kujo stretched out her slender white hand and picked up an orange from the basket. She placed the orange at the starting point like a chess player. Then let's start again. Huangzi said and picked up their oranges. You don't have to do this. If I let you go first, I'll be the winner. Miki Kujo said confidently. How can a teacher bully a student? Huangzi insisted on putting the orange back at the starting point. Outside the furnace, the new 4-person team started the game. Under the furnace, Toru Watanabe was kneeling. He was so stuffy that he wanted to throw away the quilt regardless of anything. Outside the house, snow was still falling in the sky above the campsite. Kiyono-san, you go first this time. Huangzi put the dice next to Rin Kiyono's hand. Rin Kiyono picked up the dice with a serious expression. She didn't care about what happened just now, but if she rolled the same number in front of Miki Kujo again, she would be punished with sit-ups. It would be very embarrassing. She rolled the dice carefully and cautiously. Phew. Her sparkling red lips let out a sigh of relief. It was a frame where nothing had happened. Kujo-san. Huangzi took the dice and looked at Miki Kujo expectantly. Miki Kujo picked up the dice and let it roll freely on the table. Heh. Rin Kiyono laughed mockingly. Sit UPS. Miki Kujo frowned slightly. Come and press my feet. There was no time to change the scene. At this moment, Toru Watanabe exerted force on the tip of his toes. His knees were off the ground, and his back was arched. It was similar to a push-up position, but his buttocks were raised high and his legs were bent. In the next second after he finished all of this, 9 beautiful women's slender legs stretched out from under his stomach. Let me do it. It's not easy to do sit-ups in the furnace. Aona Koizumi was about to stand up. No need. Let Kiyono help me. Miki Kujo didn't say anything like, I don't want you to touch me. As long as they didn't offend her, she would maintain basic courtesy. Rin Kiyono knew Miki Kujo's habits, so she didn't care. Give me your legs. She deliberately raised her voice to remind someone. Unfortunately, if she reminded him, he would be dead. Rin Kiyono put her hands into the furnace and pressed Miki Kujo's ankles. Miki Kujo had 5 points of stamina. Although she couldn't do 10 sit-ups in one go, it wasn't too strenuous. The one who was really tired was her boyfriend. He kept his legs bent, raised his buttocks and stomach, and supported his body with his arms. He even held a cup of tea in his hand. With his stamina, it wasn't much, but it's so stuffy. It's so hot. His back, which was facing the furnace, was already soaked with sweat. It's my turn. Huangzi took the dice. 3 points. Fortunately, a teacher can't lose face in front of the students. Here you go. Okay. Tell a joke. Hurry up. Hey, wait a minute, let me think about it. Ah. Looking at Aona Koizumi, who suddenly shouted, Huangzi curiously asked, You thought of a super funny joke? Yes. Aona Koizumi vaguely replied. In the furnace, it didn't say anything. But when Miki Kujo retracted her leg and Toru Watanabe put down his leg and breathed a sigh of relief, the breath full of heat accidentally blew on Aona Koizumi's feet. Her feet, which were wearing cute rabbit socks, curled up her toes. When Aona Koizumi said a joke that no one would laugh at, Toru Watanabe decided to change the direction. First, he couldn't stand to maintain the same posture for a long time, so he needs to move his body. Second, Aona Koizumi is a teacher. Even if they have a good relationship, he can't be too close. Last time he had no choice. This time, it seems that he also had no choice. But this time, he still had a choice. Last time he could only do that. Third, in order to prevent the situation of Miki Kujo sit-ups from happening again, he was ready to curl his body to one side. Fourth, compared to the 25-year-old Aona Koizumi, the 16-year-old Rin Kiyono was calmer. Start to move. Elbows pushed, knees followed, crawling to the side. In the furnace, Rin Kiyono frowned slightly. Something came towards her white skirt. If it was someone else under the table, even if it was a girl, she would immediately stand up. But it was Toru Watanabe. She believed that he wouldn't take the opportunity to do anything excessive. Enduring the subtle feeling of the foreign object gradually approaching, she threw the dice. Before the game ends, everyone will be called by their name. Like a live broadcast to someone, Huangzi read out the punishment in the grid. After saying that, she subconsciously sighed and said, "Ah, what a pity, if it was just. No, I mean Kiyono classmate didn't go to the talk about a high school romance stage. In the furnace. Why are you explaining on your own? Teacher Huangzi, don't underestimate Miki. If this continues, I'll be exposed." Toru Watanabe complained in his heart while continuing to move. Looking at his speed, other than the sloth called Lightning in Zootopia, she couldn't think of anything else. In the furnace, Aonai Huangzi Miki. Rin Kiyono called out the names of the three people. "It's the first time a student directly called me by my name," Aona Koizumi said with a smile. "Well, it's a very novel experience," Huangzi echoed. Miki Kujo held her hair and lazily mocked. "I didn't think that there would be a day when you would call me by my name. Is it so disgusting that you want to throw up?" "No, Miki," Rin Kiyono calmly replied. Miki Kujo raised her eyebrows. "I'm about to throw up." "Lies." Miki Kujo sneered, lazily picked up the dice and threw it. It's honestly answer a question from other players again. What I meant was, just now, Kino-san also walked to this square. In the furnace, teacher. Toru Watanabe finally finished the long march. His body was curled up next to Aona Koizumi's legs. His face was next to Rin Kiyono's legs. And his head was resting on his arm. Under the orange light of the electric heater, Rin Kiyono's beautiful legs were like a holy angel soaked in the afterglow of the setting sun. It's fake. In addition to her white dress, he could only see her white cotton socks. On the socks there was a small blue dolphin. This woman was too cute. However, it was said that girls' sweat glands were more developed, so their feet were 6 times more smelly than boys'. Toru Watanabe felt that he had too much useless knowledge. Fortunately, the 4 girls present not only didn't stink, but also had a faint fragrance. Toru Watanabe began to guess whether it was because they just took a shower, or they really had a body fragrance. Relying on his random thoughts to distract himself, he finally didn't feel hot for the time being. In the furnace, let me ask the first question. It was Huangzi again. She couldn't wait to ask, "Kujo classmate, what's Watanabe's figure like?" Huangzi. This time, Koizumi didn't shout out because teachers shouldn't ask such questions. Miki Kujo didn't care at all. She looked at Qingyi Rin's beautiful face and said with a smile, "You're right. Broad shoulders, a thin waist and a perky butt. Long and strong arms and legs. Also it takes a long time. But no matter how many times you do it, it's too much. It's very troublesome to clean it up." The 2 female teachers were shocked. Under the table, Toru Watanabe, who was trying his best to resist the heat, was also shocked. Only Rin Kiyono was surprised. She tilted her head slightly, and her milky eyes revealed a hint of doubt. Time stood still for 2 seconds. Next question. Next question. Huangzi couldn't stand it anymore. Yes, it's my turn. Aona Koizumi hurriedly said, "Kujo classmate, and I'm saying if Watanabe did something wrong to you, what would you do?" "What else could I do?" Miki Kujo pretended to look at Aona Koizumi in confusion. "Kill him. That must be a lie," Huangzi said with a grin. I think I said that just now. What's the matter?" Forget it." Miki Kujo looked at Rin Kiyono and said with a condescending smile, "Ask away." What do you hate the most about Watanabe, classmate? Rin Kiyono looked into her eyes and asked. Aona Koizumi was stunned. Huang Zi's eyes widened in excitement. According to what she told Toru Watanabe later, she was shouting in her heart, "Fight, fight, fight, oh yeah, were her original words. Toru Watanabe would never say such words. What I hate the most about him? There's no end to it." Miki Kujo thought for a moment and said, "Talking to girls, pressing on my hair while sleeping, forcefully taking off my clothes, using my work tablet to watch childish TV dramas, and so on." She looked at Rin Kiyono with a smile. "If you want to hear it, I can tell you all about it." Rin Kiyono sneered disdainfully. Lies. Lies? Impossible. Miki Kujo sat up straight. Okay, it's just a game. Aona Koizumi hurriedly tried to dissuade her. "It's my turn. I must throw a good number." In the furnace, because of Miki Kujo's words, Toru Watanabe was about to die from the heat. He couldn't take it anymore, and carefully poked his head out of the blanket. Rin Kiyono didn't move her head. She looked down and glanced at Toru Watanabe's face, who was panting softly beside her, but she didn't show it on her face. She reached out with her index finger, and turned his face from facing her, but to facing the ceiling. "Sorry." Toru Watanabe gave her a look. But Rin Kiyono had already retracted her gaze, and was sipping her tea. In this round, Aona Koizumi and Huang Zi didn't trigger any punishment. Rin Kiyono put down her teacup, and picked up the dice. She didn't trigger any punishment either. Why didn't I get punished 3 times in a row? I clearly drew the punishments so closely. While Huang Zi was talking, Miki Kujo's orange walked to the grid with the words written on it. Miki Kujo didn't look at the grid. Instead, she looked at Rin Kiyono and read out the punishment word by word. Choose one person to bark or meow twice. The person being punished can choose. Please, Kiyono classmate. Then I can only choose the cat. Aona Koizumi said gently. Kiyono classmate, choose the dog. I support choosing the dog. Huang Zi just wanted to see the beautiful girl bark like a dog. Rin Kiyono didn't care about other people's opinions, but the person she cared about was looking up at her from her butt. She took a deep breath. Meow. It was a girl cat that didn't know how to meow. Toru Watanabe covered his nose, and made a gesture of hitting the ground desperately. Rin Kiyono didn't know what he was trying to do, but she didn't want to see his face right now. She lifted the blanket and covered Toru Watanabe's face. So cute. Aona Koizumi praised. I'm going to have a nosebleed. Huang Zi said the lines of a pervert. Little Rinlin is blushing. She's blushing. Huang Zi sensei. Rin Kiyono was expressionless, but her snow-white face was crimson red. Miki Kujo looked at Rin Kiyono and showed a disdainful, proud, and satisfied smile. An hour after the game started, Huang Zi was the first to reach the finish line. After Miki Kujo left, Toru Watanabe was almost paralyzed from the heat. Chapter 187. Miki Kujo got up and left the table. After the door closed, Toru Watanabe crawled out of the quilt in Rin Kiyono's direction. After his whole body came out, he lay on the ground exhausted. His hot face was pressed against the cold floor. Ouch! His whole body came back to life. Watanabe, are you okay? Aona Koizumi asked with concern. I'm still alive. Toru Watanabe replied weakly. He shifted his position slightly. The piece of ice just now was no longer cold enough. Rin Kiyono took her hardcover book and slowly opened it. I don't understand why you're hiding. You didn't do anything wrong. Or are you afraid of her to this extent? Who said I didn't do anything wrong? Did you forget? When Miki came, I was whispering sweet nothings to you. Toru Watanabe flipped the page. Of course, this was nonsense. Imagine a girlfriend walking into a room, only to see her boyfriend and 3 beautiful women sitting under a quilt, playing a game. The punishment was very ambiguous. For example, feeding oranges. Most girls would be angry if they saw this, not to mention the possessive Miki Kujo. And once she got angry, it wasn't as simple as ignoring people. Watanabe Toru and Seigo Rin could be forgiven. Watanabe Toru and Seigo Rin would make up in bed at night, while Seigo Rin would have a meaningless argument. But what about Aona Koizumi and Huangzi? These two innocent teachers would definitely be unlucky, and would probably leave. Sweet nothings? Don't talk nonsense, Rin Kiyono said with dissatisfaction. Doesn't Kiyono-sen like me like this? Toru Watanabe laughed and stared at her expression from top to bottom. How did you know? At most, I can only say that I don't hate you. What a classic answer. I've read in a book that when a girl doesn't hate someone, she actually likes someone. Student Watanabe, stop reading weird books. You're mentally unstable. I'm afraid you'll really end up in a mental hospital one day. Shy? But it doesn't matter. I also like the way Kiyono classmate said it. What do I have to do to cure your self-righteous illness? Let me touch your leg? I think it will be very effective. Forget it, you can continue to be sick. Rin Kiyono refused without thinking. You're not a child anymore. Why are you being so shy with me? Shut up. All right. The conversation between the two of them had started abruptly, echoed each other, and ended abruptly. There was no room for a third person to interrupt at all. Looking at them, Aona Koizumi recalled something from a long time ago. Actually, it wasn't that long. It was around the end of spring and the beginning of summer. She invited the two of them, who had a bad relationship with her, to help tutor a student who needed to take a makeup exam. As thanks, she treated them to barbecue. At the barbecue restaurant, when the two of them were arguing, she said, "You'll definitely become friends. Maybe you'll even become comrades that are closer than friends." Now they were really close. Although they weren't comrades, they were lovers. Aona Koizumi was a bit emotional. She smiled and said to the two of them, "Your relationship has become very good." Not very good, it's very good. Kiyono classmate is my most important friend. Toru Watanabe moved his face forward and pressed it against the new ground. Where's that Kumiko that I like so much? Rin Kiyono pinched the footer of the page with her fingers, her gaze still fixed on the book. Toru Watanabe was momentarily speechless. Is this how I introduced her to you? Aren't you guys still chatting using Line? Just now, Kujo classmate came to find you because of this, right? Kumiko and I are just like-minded friends. My feelings for her are just ordinary feelings. If it's really I like Kumiko that I like so much relationship, I wouldn't dare to throw my phone away. You mean your feelings for me aren't ordinary? Of course. It's confidential. You're quite quick-witted. Rin Kiyono praised. Thank you for the compliment. Toru Watanabe was modest. If he didn't react quickly enough, he would have died long ago. By the way, Watanabe, you seem to be very experienced. You've done this kind of thing a lot, haven't you? Huangzi teased as she ate the 4 oranges that belonged to the winner. What experience? During the 1 hour in the furnace, Toru Watanabe, who had always been good at summarizing, deeply reflected on it countless times. He said, "It's because I don't have experience that I chose to enter the furnace first. It was so hot that I almost died." Huangzi and Aona Koizumi giggled. Although they were 25 years old, the two's laughter was as pleasant as a young girl's. Eat this orange to replenish your water. Aona Koizumi handed him an orange. Thank you, sensei. Toru Watanabe didn't eat it. Instead, he put the cold orange on his face. After resting for a while, when the sweat on his body dried and his face wasn't hot anymore, he slowly sat up. I'm going to go back and take a shower. I'm all sweaty. His gaze turned to Rin Kiyono, who was reading a book. Are you coming? Well, then I'll also take my leave. Rin Kiyono got up from the furnace and elegantly tidied up the creases on her white dress. Toru Watanabe drank the tea that he had been drinking for an hour, and took the reminiscence of time like water, and the oranges. Aona Koizumi walked the two to the door. Kids nowadays are really amazing. Huangzi began to peel the 3rd orange. They can even say words like, long time, many times, large amount. Aona Koizumi sat in the furnace. Thinking of their complicated relationship, she frowned and said, I don't know how long Watanabe can hide it. That kid only has himself to blame. Who told him to have a foot in 2 boats? Huangzi stuffed a piece of orange into her mouth. Aona, you spoil him too much. Maybe one day he will beg you to be one of his girlfriends. You might also agree. Don't talk nonsense. We have a teacher-student relationship. Yes, it's an intimate teacher-student relationship. But then again, how much do you think Miki Kujo meant by large amount? A few tablespoons? Or a test tube? Hearing her words, Aona Koizumi subconsciously thought of a scene. Immediately, she helplessly and shyly complained. Huangzi, can you not talk about this kind of thing? What's there to be shy about? It's not like the three of us haven't talked about it before. Huangzi disagreed. Just like what Koizumi Aonai said. The snow was indeed heavy, dense and blowing against their faces. But because there was no wind, it wasn't too cold. When the two stepped down, their shoes rubbed against the snow, making a faint crunch sound. Toru Watanabe looked at the snow mountain in the distance and slowly exhaled. The white fog was like a slowly building bridge, as if it was going to be built all the way to the top of the snow mountain. Qing Yiren's eyes were as clear as the aurora. He stared at him for a long time before letting out a sigh. Very powerful. She nodded. I have a large amount. After saying that, Toru Watanabe regretted. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Talking nonsense was nonsense. Regarding Rin Kiyono, other than her legs, he didn't want to make any dirty jokes. What does large amount mean? Rin Kiyono asked. You don't know? Toru Watanabe looked at her in surprise. Rin Kiyono saw it as a provocation. She brushed her long hair away from her shoulders and proudly said, One of my smarts is to ask people who aren't as good as me about things I don't know. Looking at her snow-white face and her eyes that were purer than the clear winter sky, Toru Watanabe didn't explain what large amount meant. He reached out and patted her back. Arsene, you've fallen. When he returned to the boys' dormitory, there was already a layer of snow on his head and shoulders. Keisuke Saito and the others were still playing mahjong. Everyone played as if they wanted to smash the mahjong tiles. Toru Watanabe took out memories of time like water, without a single snowflake from his clothes, and put it on the bed. Then he took his clothes and toothbrush and went into the bathroom to brush his teeth and take a shower. After taking a shower, he leaned against the headboard and read for a while. He felt sleepy from Prius's page of profound French sentences and fell asleep. Toru Watanabe was woken up by Keisuke Saito. What time is it? He propped up his upper body. The snow stopped. Hurry up and get up. Keisuke Saito replied that it could be any time, then hurriedly turned around to change his clothes. Toru Watanabe looked out the window. The snow had indeed stopped. The clouds that originally covered the sky dispersed, and the scarlet sunlight poured down on the snow. The entire world seemed to have become a furnace, and the sun that was about to set in the west was the electric heater that emitted an orange glow under the table. Watanabe, hurry up, let's go eat. Osamu Kunai shouted. You guys go. I'll accompany my girlfriend. After the four of them left, Toru Watanabe put on his clothes and walked out of the room. The road that had been cleared was now covered with a thumb's worth of snow. Several employees of the campsite were shoveling snow. The boys from Class 3 next door were building snowmen. From time to time, they would hit their classmates' heads with snowballs when they weren't paying attention. The snowball battle was about to start. It even affected Toru Watanabe, who was passing by. Watanabe? Sorry, it was a mistake. The person apologized with a smile. It's okay. When the person turned around and continued to fight with his friends, Toru Watanabe bent down, made a snowball, and threw it into their collars. Suddenly, the group of people were like ants stepping on a hot fire, screaming and jumping up and down. The weather was clearly below zero, but they desperately pulled at their clothes. Toru Watanabe laughed and quickly slipped away. Miki Kujo came back from Aona Koizumi's room. She immediately took a shower and changed into new pajamas. Lying on the soft bed, nestled in the comfortable quilt, she flipped through Toru Watanabe's phone. Browser history, photo album, line chat history, nothing was left out. Except for the fact that the chat history was completely cleared, there was nothing that made her unhappy. In a daze, she fell asleep. When she woke up, the snow had already lightened. Sitting by the window, facing the burning fireplace, she took out her tablet and documents and began to work. After a long time, the door suddenly opened. At the same time, there was a burst of smug laughter. She didn't look back. Only Toru Watanabe had the key to her room. A bunch of trash, They just had to provoke me. Ha ha. What are you so smug about? She asked as her eyes continued to scan the documents in her hand. Mickey, listen to me. Toru Watanabe walked over with the cold air of the outdoors. Just now, I was walking well on my way here. In the end, the guy from class 3 had to provoke me. He was beaten to a pulp by me. Not a single person was left alive. That's all you've got? Toru Watanabe sat on the sofa. That's all I've got. If I can chase after you, how can I be more promising? Smooth talker. Miki Kujo said lightly. By the way, did you see my phone? I suddenly can't find it. Toru Watanabe asked as if he remembered something. It's on the bed. Toru Watanabe threw himself on the bed. When he reached for the phone, Miki Kujo said, You delete your chat history very diligently. You looked at my phone? I can't. Of course you can. But I also want to look at yours. Toru Watanabe said. Miki Kujo snorted with a nasal sound. She didn't stop Toru Watanabe from looking through her phone. Password? Toru Watanabe asked. My birthday. Your birthday? Miki Kujo looked up and said with a smile. You don't know? How can I not know? Toru Watanabe keyed in 0909. The phone was unlocked, and he immediately opened the email and chat history. Although it was a joke, he instinctively became serious when he checked. Chat history, photos, folders, he looked through all of them. They were all some information and photos of the two of them. There were also photos of their legs, but he also had these in his phone. Next was social media. Toru Watanabe found something interesting, videos of a blowing competition, and they were all shots of him. Nagoya. His tone was unsteady, boring. After saying that, he looked at Miki Kujo with a meaningful gaze. Just as he continued to scroll, Miki Kujo grabbed the phone. Where did you go just now? She asked coldly. Reading in the dorm, sleeping, not playing mahjong. What were you reading? Memories of the past. Recite it for me. So Toru Watanabe recited the passage in French. This is a small, round dessert called Little Madeleine. It looks like a scallop. After reciting a sentence, Miki Kujo continued to recite in French as she processed the documents. I noticed a strange change in my body. I felt a wonderful sense of pleasure. It made me feel like I was falling in love. Her French was smooth and pleasant to the ear. Toru Watanabe leaned back on the sofa and continued reciting. It has no support, it comes suddenly, the reason is impenetrable. The joys and sorrows of life are nothing. There is no need to dwell on the sufferings of life. The shortness of life is just an illusion. Outside the window, it was sunny after the snow. Under the setting sun, some people were shoveling snow, some were having snowball fights, and some were building various sculptures. Inside the house, by the burning fireplace, the two of them recited Memories of the Past paragraph by paragraph. After Miki Kujo finished reciting, I seemed to see an ancient city by the sea, the rose-red houses under the golden rays of the setting sun and the violet sea. Toru Watanabe clapped his hands. I concede defeat. He said admiringly. Did you not remember the next part, or you don't want to recite it? Miki Kujo asked casually in a tone that said, It doesn't matter what the answer is. At this time, she was wearing pajamas that looked like a dress, tied with a ribbon around her waist, showing off the graceful curves of her slender waist. At the neckline, one could see her delicate and charming collarbone. I didn't expect Miki to read Memories of the Past too. Toru Watanabe was slightly surprised. Miki Kujo didn't answer, she just gave a perfunctory mm, and continued to browse the documents in her hands. Toru Watanabe poured himself a glass of water, and sat idly for a while. In the end, he got bored and reached out to grab Miki Kujo's soft hand, admiring her round shell-like nails. Chapter 188. Lights out. Okay. It's so dark outside, I can't see any light at all. Yeah, I've always lived in the city, so I didn't expect it to be so dark at night. As expected, the darkness in the mountains is as dark as the name suggests. What the hell are you talking about? Don't you guys think that what I just said was quite stylish? I just think that you're an idiot. Rin Kiyono placed her book on the bed next to the window, and laid down on her warm bed. As she left her book, she couldn't help but hear the girls in her dorm room chatting. The girls also shared a dorm room with 5 people. Apart from her, there were also 4 other girls, including Yoshimi Tamamo. Speaking of the mountains, did Class 4's Koen Watanabe grow up in the mountains? Here we go again. Rin Kiyono silently sighed. No matter if it was the music club, studying, or traveling, the girls would always talk about boys and love at night. I think he grew up in a village in Iwate Prefecture called Kanazawa. You know so much about him. Tell me, do you have any ideas? I only heard about it from other people. What's there to say about that guy? Yoshimi Tamamo spoke up. Did you guys forget about how he beat up and yelled at girls? Did Koen Watanabe really yell at all the girls in the music club? I couldn't tell that he was that type of person at all. I think so as well. Of course. If you don't believe me, you can ask the other girls in the music club, Yoshimi Tamamo said. Rin Kiyono knew the whole story. He yelled at the girls in the music club for her sake, and he beat them up to protect that girl. Perhaps she was the only person who could see through his true nature. He was an upright person who was filthy within filth. At critical moments, he could endure unbearable pain and do unimaginable things. He could easily blend into the environment, adapt to the environment, and maintain his sense of self. He wasn't like her, who could only live in honesty. She didn't want to go anywhere else, nor did she have the ability to. Koen Watanabe usually seems like such a cheerful and friendly person. I never would have thought that he would do such a thing. Yes, the sports marshal is stunned. Speaking of which, I've always felt that other than being handsome, Koen Watanabe has many mysterious aspects about him that are very attractive. Yes, I have the same feeling. Do you have one too? I thought it was just my imagination. Hey you guys. Yoshimi Tamamo sounded a little angry. Didn't I just say that he hit someone? He is a complete hypocrite. Rin Kiyono smiled in the darkness. Toru Watanabe had this kind of charm. Even if they knew that he was really a hypocrite and spouted nonsense all day long, people still yearned for a certain quality in him, whether it was strong, sinister, handsome, or carefree. Many girls were even willing to be deceived by him, right? By the way, have any of you received an invitation to the bonfire party tomorrow night? So beautiful. You must have a lot of them, right? Hee. Quickly tell us who it is. Who would believe that kind of boring legend? So beautiful. I don't intend to dance with those boys. I say, So Beautiful sometimes calls herself So Beautiful. She's really cute. I think so too. Super cute. Most people would be very pretentious, but So Beautiful is completely different. I didn't call myself that. How is that possible? I'm already an adult, and I still call myself by my name. How embarrassing. The girls surrounded the topic of whether Yoshimi Tamamo called herself So Beautiful or not. Rin Kiyono was thinking, who would Toru Watanabe invite tomorrow? She looked out the window. The weather was not good tonight. There was no moonlight or starlight, and the snow was silent. December 4th, Friday, the 3rd day of the winter camp. Today was the last day. During the day, the students were free to participate in skiing, fishing, or mountain climbing. On the first day Miki Kujo slept, there was a courage test at night. In the middle of the night, she was served by Toru Watanabe, or rather, served by Toru Watanabe. On the second day, in the off-road car in the morning, she played games for an hour in the afternoon. When she finally got to work, Toru Watanabe came. Before night, she was served by Toru Watanabe again. On the third day, which was today because she had to participate in the bonfire party at night, she could only work hard during the day. Toru Watanabe wanted to stay and accompany her. Go play, don't bother me here. I promise I won't disturb you or touch you. I'll just read my book obediently. Even someone as energetic as me won't think about that kind of thing all the time. What if I want to touch you? Miki Kujo's right hand moved down. Then I'll have no choice but to do it. Satisfying a girlfriend was also one of the conditions to become great. This was Toru Watanabe's thought all along. Then it'll be 3 or 4 hours. We can skip a lot of steps. If we hurry up an hour. Get out. Miki Kujo retracted her hand and pointed at the door. He was driven away. There was no sound of people in the campsite. On the mountain in the distance, there were figures the size of ants dotted on the white ski-like ski slopes. Toru Watanabe went back to the wooden house. Osamu Kanai and the others were indeed not there. Where are you? The line messages he sent to them were still unread. Toru Watanabe did not know what to do for a while. It was Rin Kiyono. Toru Watanabe walked over. Why are you taking a bath alone? Do you need 2 people to take a bath? She used a hairdryer to blow her hair carefully, but the ends of her hair were still wet. What if you get dizzy again? Are you worried about me? She teased. Of course. Toru Watanabe looked at her strangely. Rin Kiyono did not know what to say. She asked, What are you doing here alone? It's because I don't know what to do that I'm here alone. By the way, do you want to go fishing together? I don't like fishing. What about hiking? Do I look like someone who likes hiking? Watanabe-san, your brain also hibernates? How sad, your life is a quarter less than others. So Razor-san likes skiing. Toru Watanabe clapped his hands. Let's go, I'll pay for the ski rental. When did I say I like skiing? Rin Kiyono sighed helplessly. Forget it, I'll play with you for a while. Then let's go. Wait for me. What's wrong? Toru Watanabe asked in confusion. Are you going to let me bring a change of clothes to ski? Toru Watanabe looked at the bag in her hand. In addition to shampoo, shower gel, and other items, there should be a beautiful girl's underwear. What are you looking at, Ta-san? Nothing, Razor-san. You're lying again. Rin Kiyono said lightly. After Rin Kiyono put the items back in the cabin, the 2 of them walked towards the snow mountain. The sky was clear. The sun was warm and bright, and the snow was shining brightly. There was not a single cloud in the sky. The sky was as blue as the sea, and also like a painted blue canvas. There are 2 paths in the campsite. One is a ski path, and the other is also a ski path. Toru Watanabe looked at the snow mountain. What nonsense are you talking about? Rin Kiyono said. I'm just happy. Toru Watanabe turned his head and admired her snow-white face. I'm in high spirits when I think about the fact that I'll be able to ski with Casino-san. You know how to ski. From now on, I'll work hard and you'll teach me. Toru Watanabe smiled brighter than the sun. It saves me the money to hire a coach. Watanabe-san, your face is really despairingly thick. Rin Kiyono rubbed her eyebrows and said. There were 2 paths in the campsite. One was a wide and gentle beginner ski path, and the other was a crooked, narrow, and fast advanced ski path that shuttled through the jungle. Toru Watanabe did not know how to ski, so the 2 of them naturally went on the beginner ski path. The ski path was long and wide. Looking at it from the campsite, it was as if the side of the mountain had been slanted and flattened. Even though all the 1st and 2nd graders of Kanagawa High School were here, plus some scattered tourists, this place was still too big. Everyone could have a vast space. The 2 of them changed into ski clothes and found a relatively less crowded area. From now on, they would learn how to ski teach. Take my hand. Rin Kiyono faced him and stretched out her gloved hands. Wait. Toru Watanabe raised his hand and made a wait gesture. The scene that I've been dreaming of for so long suddenly came true. Lies. Sorry, I made a mistake. Toru Watanabe put his hand on her palm. The scene that I've been dreaming of is to be able to touch Rai-san's legs once a day. Rin Kiyono's back was originally facing down the slope. After hearing his words, she gently pulled him down. When Toru Watanabe was even lower, she pushed him on the back. Toru Watanabe slid out. Wait. This is too strange. Why did you suddenly push me? This isn't learning how to ski, right? How do I turn? Rai-san, how do I turn? I'm going to crash. Stop. How do I stop this thing? Wrong. I'm really wrong. Please tell me how to fall in a more handsome way. Rin Kiyono looked at Toru Watanabe, who was yelling and finally crashed into the snow, and laughed happily. She gracefully and lightly slid to Toru Watanabe's side, and looked down at him on the ground. The first ski lesson. The person who knows how to fall the most is the novice with the most potential. What first lesson? You did it on purpose, didn't you? Ba. Toru Watanabe spat out the snow in his mouth. Of course it was on purpose. With my intelligence, how could I make such a mistake? Rin Kiyono admitted without a trace of guilt. After saying that, she stretched out her hand. Get up and continue practicing. Can you first tell me how to fall in a more handsome way? Toru Watanabe stretched out his hand. If you feel that you're about to fall, don't be afraid. Just sit down on the left or right side. Remember to protect your arms and use your hips to offset. Before instructor Kiyono could finish her words, she felt a strong pulling force on her hand. Bang! It was the sound of a heavy object pressing down on the snow. Toru Watanabe, whose head was back on the ground, said, I say you're too light. Rin Kiyono, whose face was in Toru Watanabe's arms, raised her small face slightly. It seems that even a smart person like me can make low-level mistakes. However, being able to admit my mistakes and being good at summarizing them is also one of the things that proves that I'm smart. A white mist came out of her seductive lips and hit Toru Watanabe's face. I've never seen such a narcissistic person like you. Toru Watanabe supported her with his hands on the ground. Rin Kiyono's flawless snow-white face was faintly red. It was unknown whether it was because she made a fool of herself or because she fell in Toru Watanabe's arms. Toru Watanabe wanted to laugh, but he couldn't. The blushing Rin Kiyono's eyes were so cold. Let's start. Slide with me. Rin Kiyono's cold breath came out of her mouth. With her back facing the slope, she held Toru Watanabe's hand with both hands and slowly began to practice. Toru Watanabe was undoubtedly an extremely smart person. His motor skills were outstanding, and his physical fitness was unimaginable to ordinary people. The goal of a beginner, to dare to slide and not fall, was not a problem from the beginning. Rin Kiyono's requirements for him were also not those. She wanted him to be regulated, stable, smooth, and free. In just one morning, Toru Watanabe was already able to fly on a sword, on the high-grade snow path. Apart from the tacky flying on a sword, there was no suitable adjective for that feeling. Accelerating on the snow path, his body moved up and down according to the shape of the mountain and snow. His feet were lifted up, and he floated lightly on the snow. Sometimes the slope was a bit steep, so he simply flew over it. In front of him, the snowflakes raised by Rin Kiyono's skis passed through the snow mirror and rushed toward him, as if he was flying among the clouds. Toru Watanabe circled a few times in the air and stopped in front of Rin Kiyono with a rather elegant movement. Am I cool? He had a proud look on his face. I find that you're becoming more and more like a playboy, a son-in-law who lives in his family and idles around. Rin Kiyono looked at him with a scrutinizing gaze. Toru Watanabe was stunned. Idles around? Isn't he multi-talented? It varies from person to person. Of course not. You're obviously prejudiced against me. I get it. You're jealous that I'm better at skiing than you. Better at skiing than me? You really dare to say that? Rin Kiyono showed a contemptuous smile. Then let's have a competition. The two of them got back on the cable car and stood at the starting point. Kiyono, classmate, let me see your full strength. Rin Kiyono did not say anything. She just smiled arrogantly. This woman. Start. The two of them rushed out as if they had jumped off a cliff. Lowering his body and concentrating, Toru Watanabe was as agile as a fish in the water. He gradually took the lead. After rushing over a large slope, he even had the leisure to do some fancy movements. He turned his head back in the air, trying to spy on Rin Kiyono's expression through the speed, the flying snow, and the snow mirror. Rin Kiyono had just reached the slope. At that time, Toru Watanabe thought that if there was a camera, he might be able to capture the scene of the two of them flying in the air at the same time. He would keep this photo forever. In the end, even if there was a camera, it could not be captured. Rin Kiyono did not fly. When she was about to leave the slope, she suddenly tripped and rolled several times in the snow with her skis. Toru Watanabe landed on the ground, slowed down, and kept looking back. However, she continued to slide and slide. When he was about to turn the corner, and could no longer see her, she did not stand up from the snow. Rin Kiyono was not someone who gave up easily. Something happened, Toru Watanabe thought. Kiyono. He sat down directly in the snow, forced himself to stop, and took off his skis in a panic. Toru Watanabe ran up the steep slope with all his might. The snow that had just fallen yesterday was submerged up to his ankles when he stepped on it. Kiyono. Toru Watanabe rushed to Rin Kiyono and knelt on one knee in the snow. Lying in the snow, her lovely face was filled with a faint smile. It was an extremely pure smile. There was no arrogance, no contempt, and no mockery. You. Toru Watanabe was stunned. I did it on purpose. Rin Kiyono took off her snow mirror, revealing her eyes. Those eyes, because of the faint smile, were as bright as the Milky Way. Are you sick? Toru Watanabe asked worriedly. No. That's good. Toru Watanabe breathed a sigh of relief. No, what are you trying to do? You can't win, so you want to go back on your word? I didn't expect you to be this kind of person. You're so panicked that you're sweating. Do you care about me that much? Rin Kiyono said with a smile. Why are you asking if you know? Rin Kiyono's smile deepened. You're going to invite Kujo to the bonfire party, aren't you? The sudden topic made Toru Watanabe unable to guess her thoughts. But this kind of thing, no matter what, he didn't want to hide it from her from the beginning. Yes, he said. I realized it when we lost the off-road vehicle. Rin Kiyono, who was lying in the snow, looked up at the sky. Miki is my girlfriend. Toru Watanabe didn't know what he was feeling when he said this. As compensation for not inviting me, answer my question honestly. Depends on what the question is. Rin Kiyono sighed helplessly. This man yesterday said that he could tell her anything. If you had a knife, who would you let hold the handle and who would hold the blade? Just between me and Miki Kujo. Why are you asking this kind of question? Asking is a moment of shame, not asking is a lifetime of shame. Okay, it's your turn to answer me. I have a feeling that you're not answering my question. If there's a time like that, why don't we take turns using the knife? I want to use it all the time. I'll go to work and buy another one. You can buy a knife, but can you split into two? Rin Kiyono turned her head and looked at Toru Watanabe. Kiyono-san, if I let you hold the handle, what would you do? The two of them looked at each other for a long time before Rin Kiyono's soft voice came. I don't know, but if everyone has to have a knife, I'll always hold it in my hand. Toru Watanabe laughed. He sat down in the snow next to Rin Kiyono and looked at the same scenery. The snow-covered wilderness, the small town at the foot of the mountain, and the frost-covered trees. If there's a next life, let's meet earlier. Chapter 189. There was no one around. Only the sound of people's voices could be heard from the distance. The two of them were lying side by side in the thick snow, looking at the blue sky. I should have guessed that you would say something like that during the off-road car race. No, I should have guessed it from the very beginning, Seino Rin said. Then why? You have the weakness of not being decisive enough, but also the strength of being responsible. After all, I'm just an ordinary person. Toru Watanabe said in a relaxed tone. Rin Kiyono sighed deeply. The white fog curled up and disappeared in the air. You really forgot, she said. Forgot? Toru Watanabe turned his head and looked at her side face in confusion. The girl's beautiful little face was whiter than the snow, but it was more attractive. Your goal? Tokyo handsome man. I didn't forget. Toru Watanabe laughed and stretched out his hand in the air, as if he wanted to grab the sky. I still remember the first time I said it. You laughed at me for a long time. Rin Kiyono also laughed. I didn't look down on Tokyo handsome man, but at that time I thought you couldn't do it. At that time? You mean I can do it now? No. Rin Kiyono shook her head gently, her hair rubbed against the snow, making a faint rustling sound. After half a year of being together, I found that you really can't do it. Rin Kiyono turned her head and looked at Toru Watanabe. Not convinced. A little. When you and Kujo are together, it's absolutely impossible to become Tokyo handsome man. You're very good at blending in with the environment, which is both a strength and a weakness. So, I have no hope in my life? My dream is shattered? My life ends here? Toru Watanabe asked. There is a way to save it. Rin Kiyono's eyes were deep and charming. Be with me every day. Only the honest, noble, lovable, beautiful, brave, strong, elegant, pure, and intelligent me can help you become the Tokyo handsome guy. No one else can. You have many strengths, but your only weakness is that you are too narcissistic. Rin Kiyono smiled nonchalantly, showing his absolute confidence in himself. Yes, yes. You are indeed honest, noble, and cute. What was it again? There's no need to discuss the fact that I'm perfect. Please focus on the main point of what I just said. Rin Kiyono reminded him. Toru Watanabe thought of my Asahi. He had rejected her many times, until that night in Kyoto's East Mountain Villa, when the two of them became lovers. This matter was still hidden from Miki Kujo. If she was with Rin Kiyono, she never lied and could see through lies. No matter if he was willing or not, he would choose to tell her about my Kujo as soon as possible. What would become of him and my Asahi in the end? Because the premise was if. It was impossible to guess, but one thing was certain. Question. Are you more of a Tokyo hunk when you're with Rin Sano? Answer yes. I promised Miki that I would be with her, Toru Watanabe said. I'm not trying to convince you. You lost this bonfire party. In the future, I'll make you give up on Kujo because you love me too much. I don't believe you. Toru Watanabe believed that he already liked this narcissist enough. But he also liked Miki Kujo, and he felt responsible for her. He also had to watch over her and prevent her from killing people. You have your own opinions, and I have my own things to do. Rin Kiyono looked at the sky again. I'll make you like my research project, defeat Miki Kujo, and unwaveringly walk down the path of your own life. Kiyono-san, you're really bad. You deliberately broke up a couple for yourself. I never said that I'm a good person, right? But this is all your fault. Because I'm too handsome and too outstanding that you can't help yourself. Toru Watanabe said. If you immediately liked me when you walked into the human observation department, I wouldn't have let you in. If your confession to Miki Kujo wasn't a lie from the beginning, Toru Watanabe concluded. Everything is linked by a freak combination of factors. Watanabe. Rin Kiyono called out softly. Yes. Tell me about you and Kujo. I want to know. After a moment of silence, Toru Watanabe organized his thoughts. On the 10th of May, at 9 o'clock in the evening, I was at Imperial Tea. The warm winter sun shone on the two people lying in the snow. It was noon, lunchtime at the campground's restaurant. There was no one on the high-class ski run. She's really lucky. Rin Kiyono sighed, and then his tone became a little excited. But if I can defeat her while standing on the unlucky side, my sense of victory will be greater, and her sense of defeat will be greater. I really have to hand it to you. Most people would give up, right? I've been fighting alone since I was 4 years old, and I'm more indestructible than anyone else. I'm not the kind of person who everything has to be done on the first try. Although I almost never fail, I'm never afraid of failure. Is this also one of the things that proves your excellence? Toru Watanabe said. That's right. It's over. After listening to you, my impression of you has improved a lot. Are you going to admit defeat now? How's that possible? That's good. Rin Kiyono nodded with satisfaction. It's very satisfying to be able to overcome a problem. Don't say any more, I know. This is also one of the things that makes you excellent. Rin Kiyono pursed her lips and smiled. She didn't intend to say this sentence. You're right. She nodded lightly to express her affirmation. The two of them didn't speak anymore. They lay in the snow and looked at the sky for a long time. Halfway through, Toru Watanabe suddenly remembered something. By the way, Kiyono-san, do you still remember from my weight prefecture to Tokyo? He said. 400 kilometers. Rin Kiyono finished the movie's title. Why did you suddenly mention this? My love has long gone with the south wind. Don't sing. Rin Kiyono immediately interrupted him. Then you sing. Toru Watanabe turned his head and looked at her expectantly. Rin Kiyono's chest rose and fell slightly. After she adjusted her breathing, she began to sing softly. Every time I meet you by chance, you always make me forget everything, just like a little girl playing around. Can you hear my heartbeat? Coral reefs mottled our skin with their reflections. It's good just the two of us together because I like you. Her voice was clear and full of clarity. Her voice was sad and sweet, making one's heart flutter. Many years later, Toru Watanabe still remembered that day. The clear winter sky was very beautiful, and his nose was very light but always there with Rin Kiyono's fragrance, and her singing voice. The two of them went down the ski slope, took off their ski suits, and returned the skis. In front of the campsite. Thank you for your guidance, Coach Kiyono. Next Monday, write me a human observation report on learning to ski with a beautiful girl's coach. 2 or 3 thoughts in a boy's mind. As the head of the department, I will also write a report on teaching a liar to ski. 2 or 3 thoughts in a beautiful girl's mind. Do you have any other opinions? No, I just feel that you have a lot of prejudice against me. Don't you lie? Occasionally. Under Rin Kiyono's extremely oppressive gaze, Toru Watanabe changed his answer. Always. I'm not a beautiful girl. 1000% beautiful girl. Any other opinions? None at all. The two of them separated. Rin Kiyono continued on her path, ignoring everyone else, while Toru Watanabe stayed by Miki Kujo's side. When they returned to the wooden house, Osamu Kunai and the others were already there. Watanabe, where did you go? You didn't look at my messages. Keisuke Saito said. Toru Watanabe took out his phone. The message he sent had already been read. Below it was Keisuke Saito saying that they were going fishing, and the specific fishing location, asking him to hurry over. You guys didn't reply, so I went skiing, he said. We're going skiing in the afternoon. Are you still coming? The class leader said while holding his glasses. No. After that, Toru Watanabe pointed at his glasses. Why do your glasses keep falling down? Are they too big? Hearing what he said, the others were also curious. The class leader held his glasses again. It said that my face is obviously asymmetrical, so they keep falling down. Obviously asymmetrical. Keisuke Saito, Osamu Kunai, and another boy laughed. Why is it said? Toru Watanabe asked curiously. Because I don't admit it. The class leader replied calmly. I can't see it either. Toru Watanabe said. That's right. The shop assistant must be bluffing. The class leader was so agitated that his glasses slipped down again. Toru Watanabe couldn't help but laugh. Why don't you get a pair? Won't it be uncomfortable? Impossible. The class leader held his glasses and said. None of you can influence me, I'm right. Class leader, that's enough. Keisuke Saito said. That's right, it's fine if you don't say it. After you say it, even an idiot can see that your face is asymmetrical. Osamu Kunai said. If the glasses don't fit, won't it affect the degree? Another boy said. I won't admit that my face is asymmetrical even if I'm blind. The class leader insisted. Toru Watanabe patted him on the shoulder. Let's not talk about symmetry. I admire your attitude towards life. Watanabe, the class leader, who was always calm, was so excited that he wanted to shake Toru Watanabe's hand. Toru Watanabe quickly dodged. At that moment he understood. He didn't appreciate the class leader, he just didn't oppose the class leader because Rin Kiyono was also a stubborn guy. You should go order a pair of glasses, Toru Watanabe said. The 5 of them argued for a while before Keisuke Saito and the others went to the ski resort. Osamu Kunai stayed behind with the excuse that he had to prepare for the bonfire party later. Watanabe, can you do me a favor? Osamu Kunai whispered. What is it? Toru Watanabe took out Memories of Time Like Water from under his pillow. You'll go to the bonfire party later for me. That depends on what you want. Toru Watanabe didn't refuse, but he didn't agree either. He casually flipped to a page of the book and started reading. He had finished reading the book long ago, but it would take him a long time to understand all the French in the book. I invited Itsuki classmate to dance, but I was rejected. My condolences. She also advised me to give up early and chase other girls. She's a good person. Toru Watanabe said. So you're so sad that you can't move, so you want me to help you chop wood? Before I came, I asked the chairman in charge of the bonfire party to put me in the same group as Itsuki classmate. Oh. Toru Watanabe nodded in understanding and flipped to the last page of the book. I'll go for you. Thank you. Toru Watanabe read for an hour and a half in the dorm before he got up and left the wooden house. He walked towards the square where the bonfire party would be held. The chairman was a cute girl. She didn't let him chop wood, but arranged for him and Aoi Ichiki to carry wood from the warehouse. Was it more comfortable to carry wood or chop wood? Toru Watanabe didn't know, but the chairman probably thought that it was easier to carry wood. The two of them walked one after the other on the mountain road to the warehouse in the forest. In the silent snow forest, the sound of birds chirping was much louder than usual. Kwosui classmate invited me to dance, but I rejected, Aoi Ichiki said. I know. I'm really sorry. Kwosui classmate is really good. I tried it myself, but there was nothing I could do. Not only Kwosui classmate, but other boys as well. I couldn't move them at all. It's pretty good. There's no need to force yourself. Toru Watanabe said. If it was you, Koen Watanabe, with an appearance that transcends the boundaries between men and women, I should be able to accept it. Are you mocking me? Saying that I look like a girl? No way. That's not what I meant at all. The branches on the road were broken, making a crisp sound. The two of them arrived at the warehouse and worked together to lift a piece of wood. Aoi Ichiki stopped talking about her and changed the topic to Miki Kujo. Miki Kujo has become prettier. Everyone in our dorm was talking about it last night. She was originally very pretty. Other than Kiyono classmate, no one can compare to her. Koen Watanabe, don't be in such a hurry to defend her. Seriously. Aoi Ichiki pretended to complain. You misunderstood me. To be precise, Kujo classmate didn't become prettier. Instead, she became more charming. Girls can't help but be attracted to her. Are you declaring war on me? I still like my senpai. Oh, that's good. Toru Watanabe didn't finish the sentence. That doesn't seem to work either. I like Kiyono classmate too. Ha. But I'm nervous around her. I don't even dare to joke around. It feels a bit cold and arrogant. That's calmness and self-discipline. Yes. It's calmness and self-discipline. I was wrong again. Aoi Ichiki muttered to herself. I almost forgot. You and Kiyono classmate have an affair. Toru Watanabe silently lifted the piece of wood and pretended not to hear anything. And Home classmate isn't bad either. Aoi Ichiki's arms were a bit sore. She changed her posture slightly. Yoshimi Tamamo? What's so good about her? Toru Watanabe still remembered this 150,000 ex-girlfriend. She was a gold digger. But this was her personal matter. He wouldn't talk about it. Don't you think her body is super good? Her legs are long and beautiful too. But then again, Koen Watanabe's girlfriends are Kujo classmate and Kiyono classmate. No girl has a better body and a prettier face than them. Don't talk nonsense. Aoi Ichiki pretended not to hear anything. Koen Watanabe, tell me about their bodies. Which one is better? Why are you telling me this? Toru Watanabe had a headache. If he had known this would happen, he wouldn't have helped Osamu Kanai. Isn't it weird to talk about this with a girl? Boys are even more unsuitable. Only Koen Watanabe is tight-lipped and knows a lot of information. I understand. You're saying that I'm neither a man nor a woman. Aya, how could that be? Hurry up and say it. Just say it. I won't tell anyone else. Let me tell you my opinion on my Asahi classmate's body. No. I'm not listening. I want to listen to Kujo classmate and Kiyono classmate. Itsuki classmate, there's something wrong with you. The red setting sun swept past the treetops in the forest. The night had dyed the ground red. The wood that was moved to the square was piled into a square without a roof. Inside the square was chopped firewood. Thank you for your hard work. The chairman of the committee said. Thank you for your hard work. The committee members replied in unison. Everyone, take the time to eat and bathe. I hope that you can meet someone you like at the bonfire party. Chapter 190. The cafeteria was bustling with people coming and going. As Toru Watanabe walked to the ordering counter, he heard many people discussing the bonfire party. The atmosphere was lively. While waiting in line, Huangzi happened to be in front of him. "Good evening, Huangzi-sensei." Huangzi turned around and glanced at him. "Oh, it's Watanabe. Good evening." "Sensei, why are you alone? Where's Koizumi-sensei?" Toru Watanabe asked. "She caught a cold, so she's resting in her room. I came to buy some food for her." "Caught a cold?" "Because she took care of a sick girl, she got infected," Huangzi explained. One person walked in front of the line, and the other two followed the line. "Isn't she on her period?" Although he didn't pay much attention, Toru Watanabe's memory was quite good. "Someone else is on her period. Last night, another girl accidentally caught a cold because she was playing in the snow. Aonai stayed by her side for the entire night, but this morning, she collapsed on her own." "Are you alright?" "I'm fine. I took some medicine and slept for the entire day. I'll be fine soon." "That's good." Toru Watanabe nodded. "Sensei, are you bringing food back to eat?" "Yes." "Can I go with you? I want to go see Koizumi-sensei. At least you have a conscience." Huangzi patted Toru Watanabe's sturdy shoulder. The next moment, her expression suddenly changed. "No, this should be one of your pickup techniques, right? Seizing the opportunity to attack my Aonai? Let me tell you, don't even think about getting past me and Miyuki." Toru Watanabe was rendered speechless. After buying the fried chicken set meal, Toru Watanabe followed Huangzi to her room. Underneath his feet, the soft, bread-like snow crunched as it was stepped on. Huangzi opened the door with her room card. "Aonai, I brought your sweetheart." "Sweetheart?" Toru Watanabe was speechless as he repeated this word. "Is there a problem with what I said?" Huangzi questioned. "No, it's just that this word is so old. Teacher Huang, you're not from the Showa era, are you?" "I'm only 25. As the two of them talked, they walked to the bedside. Aona Koizumi propped herself up from her blanket. When she saw Toru Watanabe, a soft smile appeared on her slightly weak oval face. Huangzi placed one hand on Aona Koizumi's smooth forehead and touched his own forehead with the other. "The temperature has dropped a lot. I'll stick an antipyretic patch on you after dinner. You should be fine by tomorrow morning." Aona Koizumi responded softly. The relationship between the teachers is really good. Toru Watanabe couldn't help but sigh when he saw this scene. It wasn't that good in the beginning. Huangzi opened the lunchbox, took out a pair of chopsticks, and handed it to Aona Koizumi. Then he picked up his own portion. Toru Watanabe also brought a sofa over. One of them lay on the bed while the other two sat around the bed and ate the packed dinner. It wasn't good in the beginning? Didn't the teachers grow up together? Toru Watanabe said as he drank a mouthful of soup. "We grew up together." Huangzi took the biggest piece of fried chicken from Toru Watanabe's lunchbox. "But our relationship became good in the second year of high school. Is that right?" "I don't remember the exact time." It was in the second year of high school." Aona Koizumi nodded lightly. "This kind of thing is very common." Huangzi chewed the fried chicken. "For example, in the third year of middle school, we were in the same class but we barely communicated. Then in high school, our relationship suddenly became close. The relationship between people is really incredible. Close relatives will gradually drift apart, and people who used to hate each other will open their hearts one day," Toru Watanabe said. "It's obviously the same thing. Why do you say it better than me? People who can two-time really have a glib tongue. It has nothing to do with two-time. I'm just a little bit more educated than you." "Aonai, your student looks down on me. He's scolding me for not studying enough." Huangzi complained like a child. Aona Koizumi ate a mouthful of rice, pulled her hair behind her ear, and showed a gentle smile. "Huangzi, don't keep saying things like two-time. Watanabe won't be happy if he hears it. Even you are bullying me." Huangzi made a fake crying sound. "I was just joking. You guys actually joined forces to value a lover over a friend." "Ooh. I'm sorry, teacher. I was wrong." Toru Watanabe picked up a piece of fried chicken. "Here, I'll give you the fried chicken." "Do you think I'm a child? You said you were only 25 years old. 25 years old is not old." That's right. I'm still a baby. Give me all the fried chicken. Forget it. You can continue crying. Toru Watanabe put the half-eaten fried chicken into his mouth. You should at least give me the piece you promised. You are indeed a scumbag. You go back on your words, play with a girl's heart, and cheat a woman's feelings. With that, Huangzi suddenly stretched out her chopsticks and went straight for Toru Watanabe's lunchbox. Toru Watanabe lifted the lunchbox up calmly, as if he had already expected it. He also took the fried pork chop from Huangzi's lunchbox. Give it back to me. Aona Koizumi smiled as she watched the two play around. After the meal, Toru Watanabe left to let Aona Koizumi have a good rest. Back in the room, Keisuke Saito and the others were talking about the bonfire party. Who are you dancing with? I'm not sure yet. What do you mean? I'll see which girls are left, and then I'll pick from them. Pick. Wow, that's really domineering. Do you think you're also everyone's Koen Watanabe? Toru Watanabe didn't have time to respond to their teasing. He took his clothes and went into the bathroom to take a shower. When he came out, the four of them were already impatient. Watanabe, hurry up, it's about to start. That's why it's so troublesome to have a girlfriend. You have to take a shower when you go out. Yes, and it's a waste of water. Sorry. Toru Watanabe took the time to dry his hair. After he dried his hair, the five of them hurried to the square. There was no one on the way. When they were about to reach the square, and could see the dense crowd, they suddenly heard an orderly countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Light the fire. Boom. Amidst the cheers, a bonfire rose into the sky like a small sun, illuminating the surroundings. Countless sparks danced in the night wind like fireflies. The five of them quickened their pace and rushed to the square. Keisuke Saito and the others went to pick their dance partner, while Toru Watanabe searched for Miki Kujo's figure in the crowd. Dancing students, please come to the center. The chairman's voice was transmitted to everyone's ears through the broadcast. Along with the burning bonfire, the atmosphere in the square became lively. There was still some time before the bonfire party. At the edge of the square, under a lush pine tree near the forest. I didn't think you'd dare to come. You still haven't given up? Miki Kujo kicked away a pine tree by her feet. The school rules state that unless you're sick, everyone must participate. Rin Kiyono hugged her elbows. What? Are you afraid that Watanabe-san will suddenly change his mind? Miki Kujo didn't answer. Instead, she looked at Rin Kiyono. Her long black hair, the contours of her face, her white skin, and her cherry blossom lips were all traces of her childhood, except for her eyes, which gave people a sense of pressure like the deep sea. Every time you look at me, I feel a sense of disgust in my heart. I want to sew your eyelids shut forever. Miki Kujo's voice was as cold as the night wind. Avoiding the question, it seems that I was right. Rin Kiyono showed a victorious smile. When did you become so optimistic? Did this failure make you lose your mind? The bonfire party hasn't started yet. I haven't failed yet. Even if I failed, it's just one bonfire party. Once in the first year of high school, once in the second year, and once in the third year of high school. The person who laughs early may not necessarily be the one who laughs in the end. Such a simple truth, Miss Kujo, you must understand it better than me. A female high school student, right? Of course I understand. Let me tell you something else. Miki Kujo's mouth curved into a cruel smile. I've turned defeat into victory many times, but no one has been able to make me lose when I'm in the lead. That's because your opponent is too stupid. Rin Kiyono neatly brushed away the long hair on her shoulder. In front of me, you have a slight advantage by relying on luck. I advise you to be a bit more modest. Luck. I don't care what you want to do to other people, but for the safety of Watanabe classmate and his family, it's best if you don't have any other ideas. Miki Kujo's face was cold. You know a lot. Is that why you dare to come here today? I can see through lies, so I know more than you think. Rin Kiyono laughed arrogantly. Do you want me to tell you Watanabe, classmate's true feelings towards you? Does he like you or does he like me more? Miki Kujo slightly narrowed her eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Light the fire. Wow. It's so bright. It's so beautiful. Will there be fireworks later? A gentle breeze passed through the lush forest and quietly blew over. The sudden bonfire set off the darkness of the night. Miki Kujo stroked the ring on her ring finger. The ruby reflected a mysterious color under the light of the bonfire. I did have luck, Miki Kujo said, but even if I didn't meet him at Imperial Tea, I would have met him at the Human Observation Department. He's destined to kneel at my feet. Dancing students, please come to the middle. A voice came from the radio. When the radio noise disappeared, Rin Kiyono said indifferently, "It's just a hypothetical situation. Who knows?" With her voice, Miki Kujo's thoughts drifted away along with the sparks of the bonfire. If she met Toru Watanabe at the Human Observation Department and didn't know his secret, with her personality, would she still care about such a person? She would care. After Rin Kiyono cared about him. In order to disgust Rin Kiyono, she would definitely not hesitate to make a move. But by that time, Toru Watanabe would already have the backing of Kiyono's family. She wouldn't harm the Kujo's family's interests and destroy the relationship between the two families for this kind of thing. If that's the case, could she still win? That guy, would he still be with her? Also, now he invited her this time, but what about the future? With Rin Kiyono's help, he could leave her at any time. No, the current her was the one who met and kissed him at Imperial Tea, was confessed to during the exam, snuck onto the boat to flirt with him during the dance, sat in front of the window in the middle of the night to watch the rainy night of Kyoto, and went to Kamibocho bookstore together during the weekend. If Toru Watanabe dared to leave, she would dare to make a move. He was the one who broke his promise first. You're here. Suddenly, a clear voice pulled her back from her thoughts. A handsome young man walked over. His legs were long and slender. He was handsome and delicate. It was Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe walked through the crowd and rejected two girls' invitations to dance. Finally, he saw Miki Kujo in the corner. He didn't expect Rin Kiyono to be here too, and even stood together with Miki Kujo. Just how strong is this guy? They were wearing the same winter school uniform as the girls around them, but they looked different. Their figures were slender, and they were so beautiful that they looked like goddesses attracted by the fireworks of the mortal world. You're here. He walked up to them. Miki Kujo looked at him coldly. What's wrong? Toru Watanabe asked curiously. You know it yourself. Know what? Forget it. Toru Watanabe stretched out his hand. Miki, my beautiful princess, will you dance with me? To Toru Watanabe's surprise, although Miki Kujo put her hand in his, she didn't look happy about winning against Rin Kiyono at all. Toru Watanabe really wanted to ask Rin Kiyono what kind of methods he used to defeat Miki Kujo like this. But that kind of thing didn't matter. What he should do now was to focus on dancing with his Miki. The two of them walked hand in hand to the bonfire. One was handsome, the other beautiful. They were tall and slender, like a real prince and princess. Gasps of surprise could be heard from the surrounding girls. Toru Watanabe hugged Miki Kujo's slender waist that he had held countless times, and held her straight and slender fingers that he had held countless times. The two of them danced gracefully by the bonfire. Miki Kujo looked at Toru Watanabe in front of her. She opened her mouth to say something, but in the end, she didn't say anything. After a few dances, her cold face was gradually melted by the bonfire. She opened her mouth again, and this time she spoke. Watanabe. I like you. Miki Kujo's side face was red under the light of the bonfire. It was even a little hot. Toru Watanabe was stunned and said, This can't be Miss Kujo's scheme, right? You want me to be infatuated with you forever? Miki Kujo stepped on his foot fiercely. It hurts? Miki Kujo sneered. Her expression was full of murderous intent. You actually saw through it. That's right, this is my method to enslave you. Then, she wrapped her arms around Toru Watanabe's body and leaned on him gently, her head on his shoulder. I order you to take what I said just now seriously. Do you hear me? There was a hint of shyness in her tone of command. Toru Watanabe stroked her long hair and felt her soft body. No need to order me. He whispered softly in her ear. Do you think I'll let you go now? Not even the Kujo family. You have guts to look down on the Kujo family. But seeing that you're going to be my husband, I'll allow you to have such guts. When are we getting married? 18 years old. Ah, there are still 2 years. Can you think of a way to change the law to 16 years old? If I had that kind of power, the first law passed would be to prohibit any woman from talking to you. At least let my mom and your mom go. By the way, Kiyono. Wait, don't step on me. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I won't talk nonsense anymore. In the bonfire, their shadows overlapped. Chapter 191. Miki Kujo suddenly stopped dancing. Let's go back. I'm tired. Aren't you waiting for the final song? Toru Watanabe said. I've heard of a legend that the moment the bonfire party ends, the two people who hold hands will be fated to grow old together. Miki Kujo looked slightly contemptuous and disdainful. If the bonfire party is really so magical, the world would be in chaos. After saying that, she raised her face and stared at Toru Watanabe. I participated in such a boring event because I wanted to see what you would choose in the end. Are you satisfied? Toru Watanabe put his hands around her waist and said with a chuckle. The bonfire illuminated the side of their faces. At least you know what's good for you. Are you happy? It's okay. How okay is okay? Miki Kujo glanced at him. Even if I tell you how good it is, can you tell how good it is? After she said this, she saw Toru Watanabe's eyes revealing a thoughtful look. About a second later, his eyes became clear again, and his lips moved to her ear. Then tell me, if you were wearing a lotus leaf dress now, would you want to gently hold the hem of the dress and spin in circles? Miki Kujo really admired this person. He could actually think of a way to quantify happiness in such a short time. I find that you are really annoying sometimes. She pushed Toru Watanabe away. Tell me, do you know how to spin in circles? Toru Watanabe chuckled and asked. Stop talking nonsense. Let's go. She held her left elbow with her right hand and grabbed Toru Watanabe's tie with her left hand. She forcefully pulled him away from the dancing crowd. Also, I hate hypotheses. Don't say this word in the future. Do you hear me? Why? Without hypotheses, science won't progress. I don't care about science. So fierce. Miki Kujo grabbed his tie. Their target was the pine tree from before. Rin Kiyono was reading a book. Even though the surrounding atmosphere was noisy, her beautiful little face was so focused. Toru Watanabe even felt that the air around her must be clearer than other places. Out of the habit of learning from excellent people and surpassing Rin Kiyono sooner or later, Toru Watanabe looked at the title of the book, Clogs on a Clear Day by Kaze Nagai. Hearing the footsteps of the two approaching, Rin Kiyono raised her face from the book. The bonfire in the distance couldn't wait to kiss her. Her delicate face was dyed with an illusory color like the afterglow of the setting sun. Are you here to show off? Rin Kiyono's voice was penetrating. You just said that I'm not allowed to touch Watanabe and his family. Then let me tell you, if you dare to touch Watanabe, don't blame me for being rude. Have you ever been polite to me after I was 5 years old? Rin Kiyono didn't care at all. I didn't expect that a good girl like you would touch someone else's boyfriend. Miki Kujo sneered. Haven't you always known about the research project of making Toru Watanabe fall in love with Rin Kiyono? Why are you so anxious now? Rin Kiyono finished speaking and added. Cater to the world's point of view, erase your own personality, give up on your goals, and foolishly pretend to be gentle in order to make others like you. Of the 3 people here, only Watanabe-san is a liar, right? Miki Kujo-san, I don't think you have the right to criticize me. Wait a moment. Toru Watanabe interrupted. Are you planning to isolate me? Ostracize me? Rin Kiyono, shut up. Miki Kujo, shut up. I'm sorry. Toru Watanabe's tactic of easing the atmosphere failed. Miki Kujo's gaze shifted from Toru Watanabe to Rin Kiyono. Then let's do it. She revealed a sinister smile. Let's see who gets the last laugh. It's not just about turning Watanabe-san into an ape. I'll be the winner in all aspects of grades, art, and future career achievements. Rin Kiyono declared confidently. For someone like her, even her black hair was shining. It's good to be confident. Miki Kujo wasn't weak, but I advise you not to be too arrogant. If you lose because of your arrogance, don't say it's luck. Thank you for the reminder. I'll say it again. You should also be humble. As far as Toru Watanabe was concerned, both of them should be humble. He had never seen anyone more narcissistic than them. He was the only conscience of the human observation department. After the two girls finished their fierce talk, the three of them walked back to the campsite. Didn't you say that according to the school's rules, everyone has to participate? Yes, but the school doesn't say that everyone has to stay until the end. What do you mean by being absolutely honest? You're just picking the best conditions for yourself, aren't you? Kujio-san, you can look at me however you like. But you've done too many bad things, so you should be careful when you walk at night. Don't just happen to walk into Imperial Tea Water, and then meet Watanabe-san drinking coffee at a coffee shop. They were arguing again. Toru Watanabe stepped back, letting the two of them walk together. Do you think I'll be taken advantage of in the same place? As for Watanabe, he'll always be by my side for the next few decades. Kiyono-san, you don't have to. As they were talking, someone was carrying firewood and dropped it on the ground. At night on the snowy ground, Miki Kujo, who was busy refuting Rin Kiyono, stepped on a round firewood and fell down. She reacted quickly and supported herself with her hands to prevent her clothes from getting dirty. I told you to be careful when you walk at night. Rin Kiyono said with a cheerful voice. Miki Kujo, who was supporting herself on the ground, had a gloomier expression than the night sky in the forest. Miki, are you okay? Toru Watanabe hurried over. If he was by Miki Kujo's side just now, no matter what happened, he would be able to hold her back. But because she was arguing with Rin Kiyono, Toru Watanabe deliberately fell behind, resulting in this situation. Before he could reach out his hand, Miki Kujo suddenly stretched out her black stockinged leg, aimed at Rin Kiyono's stockinged leg, and nimbly hooked it. There was a soft cry. Rin Kiyono, who was in a panic, barely managed to support herself with her hands. What are you doing? She asked with a cold face and a flat tone. Cater to the world's point of view. Erase your own personality, give up on your goals, and foolishly pretend to be gentle in order to make others like you. Of the three people here, only Watanabe-san is a liar, right? Rin Kiyono-san, I don't think you have the right to criticize me. Seeing Rin Kiyono's face become even colder, Miki Kujo's mood naturally became cheerful. If she really wore a lotus leaf dress, and there was no one around, she would definitely grab the hem of the dress and spin around. I really feel sorry for you, Rin Kiyono said with a sneer. It's fine if you don't dare to admit your failure, but you even have to use other people's excuses. I only do things that make me happy, Kiyono-san. It's not like this is the first day you know me. Toru Watanabe was really caught off guard. He didn't think that Miki Kujo would do such a thing. Looking at the two people lying in the snow arguing, he helplessly stretched out his hands and grabbed their arms. While pulling them up, he said, "You two should stop before going too far. What's the use of saying so much? Didn't you say that it's a competition of grades and arts?" At this time, there was suddenly the sound of fireworks exploding, following a series of boom, boom, boom. Clusters of smoke and fire rushed into the night sky with tails behind them. When they reached a certain height, they suddenly exploded. The dark sky was multicolored and colorful. In the distant square, there were lively cheers. Beside the bonfire, a young boy and a young girl held hands. In an invisible corner, there were also people who didn't want others to know. They secretly held hands. How long are you going to hold hands? Miki Kujo's mouth was filled with cold air, as if the ice age was going to repeat itself and freeze everything. No. Toru Watanabe hurriedly let go. I just want to help the two of you up. You want to help Rin Kiyono? Miki Kujo grabbed Toru Watanabe's tie, their faces almost touching, and stared into his eyes. Miki, you tripped her. As your boyfriend, I want to apologize, so... Enough. Miki Kujo said word by word. Do you think I'll believe this nonsense? The fireworks were set off by themselves. It has nothing to do with me. I'm innocent. Also, Miki, I thought you didn't care about the legend? I don't care, but that's not a reason for you to hold hands with her. Miki Kujo's murderous look became more and more intense. I'm innocent, the fireworks set me up. Umph. Miki Kujo pushed Toru Watanabe away. I'll deal with you tonight. She turned her face and said to Rin Kiyono, who was watching the show with his arms crossed. Aren't we competing in arts? There's a piano room in my room. Watanabe, you be the judge. Rin Kiyono put his hand on his chin, thought for a moment, and said, with Watanabe classmate's ability and identity, he is indeed qualified to be our judge. But Toru Watanabe didn't want to be a judge. He just wanted to go back to sleep, and when he woke up, he would take the bus to leave this nightmarish winter camp and return to Kamigawa, where he had been away for 3 days, to continue his daily life as an ordinary high school boy. I think we should forget about it, he said. It's already late. It's only 9 o'clock, what's so late about it? Miki Kujo mercilessly rejected his opinion. She took the lead and walked towards the campsite, with an imposing manner, her hair fluttering in the night wind. And under the illumination of the fireworks above her head, she was like the queen of the night. After a few steps, the queen of the night stopped and looked back at Toru Watanabe. Why are you behind? Do you want to see me fall? Stand next to me, she ordered. Yes, yes, yes. Toru Watanabe walked up. Perfect. Rin Kiyono walked on the other side of Toru Watanabe. Then I can rest assured about Kujo-san. Watanabe-san, you won't let her hurt you again, right? That. Toru Watanabe, who was sandwiched in the middle. Can I go to the back? No. Both of them said in unison. That's why, when it came to him, the two of them suddenly had a tacit understanding. Miki Kujo lived in a detached villa, with a piano room, a kitchen and a gym. Everything was available. In the piano room, there was a grand piano, a guitar, a violin, and a harmonica to make up the number. Generally speaking, most people who learn to play musical instruments practice the piano and learn the basics of music through the piano. If one wanted to go to a music university in the future, in addition to majoring in musical instruments, the piano would be a secondary instrument. Therefore, even if one didn't know how to play, they could still play. Except for Toru Watanabe. He didn't know anything about the piano, and the only musical instruments he learned were the flute in elementary school, and the oboe not long ago. But with his musical ability, no matter how advanced the piano performance was, he could still make irresponsible remarks, but there was no need for him to do so. He didn't have the habit of looking for superiority from others. Today he knew a little more than yesterday. Not a lot, even if it was just a word or a page of a book. That was his goal. What do you want to play? Rin Kiyono asked. Art varies from person to person, let's compete on the basics. Miki Kujo sat in front of the piano. Her back was straight, her waist was slender, her legs were long, and her black hair was long and gorgeous. Mozart, Beethoven, whatever, you don't need to play. Find a modern song. Miki Kujo lifted the piano cover and pressed on the black key at the edge. The piano responded with a high-pitched note. On the black key, Miki Kujo's fingers looked even more white and slender. Then just pick a song. Rin Kiyono looked at Toru Watanabe. Watanabe-san, you're in charge of choosing the song. Wait a minute, what's an optometry? Toru Watanabe asked. Look at the score and play. Miki Kujo casually explained. Isn't that too simple? You have to look at the score for the first time. Rin Kiyono added. Oh, that's quite difficult. Rin Kiyono rolled her eyes at him. Hurry up and find a song. It has to be the first time. Toru Watanabe thought for a moment. Then just play Jay Chou's Nocturne. I've heard it before, change it. Rin Kiyono said. You know Jay Chou? I'm not familiar with it, but I've heard Nocturne. What about Sea of Flowers? I don't know the name, but I don't know if I've heard the melody by chance. Sing it again. The two young ladies looked at him strangely. Miki Kujo couldn't help but say, Your singing is so bad it's hopeless. Rin Kiyono nodded in agreement. Say no more, I know it's bad. Toru Watanabe gestured for them to stop. Is Sea of Flowers okay? No problem. Neither of them had heard of this song before. Toru Watanabe found the piano score for Sea of Flowers on the internet. It was easy to find such a famous song. In order to be as fair as possible, when the first person played, the other person had to open another piano room. With Rin Kiyono's ability to see through lies, no one would cheat. Miki Kujo played first. The song flowed smoothly. The notes on the score were not isolated notes, but grammatical sentences. In terms of skill, many people practice for a long time to reach this level. Next was Rin Kiyono. Toru Watanabe noticed that Miki Kujo didn't ask her if she was secretly reading the score outside. The two of them didn't have a good relationship, but there was a certain trust between them. Rin Kiyono's melody was light. It was obviously her first time playing, but her technique and charm were not bad at all. Miki Kujo didn't need to go out again, so she also stayed. She leaned against the wall, crossed her arms, closed her eyes and listened. The curves of her body were particularly graceful. After the last note, Toru Watanabe regretted it. There was almost no difference between the two of them. Even if the judges of the piano exam came, there would probably be a 50-50 split. However, Toru Watanabe was a superb oboe. Although there was a gap between the instruments, it was easy to tell the difference between good and bad. Toru Watanabe always had a feeling. Could it be that the number of times the system screwed him over was more than the number of times it helped him? Watanabe-san, who's better? Rin Kiyono asked. This. I'll say fighting and killing and whatnot. Just say it. Miki Kujo interrupted his hemming and hawing. Miki. Toru Watanabe's voice became dry and crisp. Rin Kiyono's mouth slightly curved, and she smiled. Qingyi Rin's song was even better. There was a hint of charm in her song, like a gentle night breeze blowing through the grassland. Watanabe-san, you really like to lie. Rin Kiyono said with a smile. What? Miki Kujo pulled Toru Watanabe's tie, and lovingly stroked his flawless face. I call this favoritism, and I'm very satisfied with this result. Rin Kiyono's face became cold, and her cold eyes glanced at Toru Watanabe. I already said don't compete, no matter what, it's my fault. Toru Watanabe returned with such a look. Kiyono-san. Miki Kujo looked at Rin Kiyono with a smile. How long are you going to stay here? Don't disturb us couples being intimate, okay? Rin Kiyono glanced at her, and politely said good night. She neatly waved her long hair, and walked out of the piano room. As soon as she left, Miki Kujo's face became horrified. Toru Watanabe saw that something was wrong, and hurriedly said, Miki, listen to my explanation. I really can't do anything about whether the music is good or bad. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for asking me to learn. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to tell who played better between the two of you. So the responsibility is on me? Miki Kujo said word by word. Completely correct. Completely. True. Correct. Then what about the matter of you holding her hand? Explain it to me. Miki Kujo reached out and twisted Toru Watanabe's ear. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Be gentle. On the last night of the winter camping, Toru Watanabe was F***ed. Chapter 192. The tram entered the platform and Toru Watanabe followed the flow of people onto the tram. He didn't need to look to know that there were no more seats in the carriage. There were office workers in uniforms all around, as well as students reading vocabulary cards for their final exams. There were advertisements pasted on the tag of the carriage. Santa Claus riding a reindeer left far behind by a BMW. KFC Christmas Party Bucket. Providing 3 combinations to satisfy the different needs of 2 people from private parties to group dinners. Christmas strawberry cake from Spring Things. Reservation call. XXXXX. Toru Watanabe's eyes wandered around Yukino's body under the snow in her revealing Christmas dress. Why are you selling yourself again, second miss? The tram rattled as it moved forward, shaking the carriage. Toru Watanabe couldn't help but yawn. He grabbed the ring and stood in front of the seats full of passengers, looking at the scenery outside the window. It was already late December. Through the foggy window, he could feel the chill of winter. In less than a week, Toru Watanabe's second semester in high school would come to an end. The tram arrived at Shiya Station, got off, and walked on the ramp to school. The students he met on the way, regardless of whether they were male or female, were all wearing scarves and thick jackets over their school uniforms. Compared to them, who had their necks tucked in and were wearing winter clothes, Toru Watanabe's casual posture and unbuttoned school uniform made people wonder if the temperature was actually that cold. Good morning, Kiyono classmate. The two of them went to school at the same time. 3 out of 5 days they would meet on this uphill road. The remaining 2 days were in the shoe closet. Rin Kiyono nodded. She didn't intend to say anything, but when she saw his exposed neck and unbuttoned school uniform, she couldn't help but ask, Watanabe classmate, are you really not cold? Of course not. There's nothing wrong with my head. If I were really cold, why wouldn't I wear more clothes? Rin Kiyono nodded and didn't say anything else. After returning from the winter camp, the relationship between the three of them didn't change much. Miki Kujo was not around, so the two of them continued to waste time reading books in the human observation department. With Miki Kujo around, the way to waste time would turn into an argument, and the one who would get hurt would always be Toru Watanabe. Later, he learned his lesson and bought a chess set, finally freeing himself from the battlefield. As they walked, a group of boys with buzz-cut hair ran over. On a cold winter morning, they were wearing summer sportswear, short-sleeved shirts and shorts. They were shouting slogans as if their lives depended on it. White fog came out of their mouths in large mouthfuls. Kamigawa, fight! Kamigawa, fight! It was the baseball department. According to Osamu Kanai, the new second-year department head made a vow. If they can't enter the Koshien finals next year, in order to apologize to all the teachers and students in Kamigawa, the baseball team will sit on the ground in front of the school gate. To be honest, Toru Watanabe didn't pay attention to the baseball team at all, so it didn't matter if they entered the Koshien finals or not. But a group of people kneeling in front of the school gate, that scene should be very interesting. He decided to stay in front of the TV next summer and cheer for them. At the back of the group, Osamu Kanai was also shouting at the top of his lungs. Toru Watanabe saluted him. What are you doing? Rin Kiyono looked at him with an inexplicable gaze. Toru Watanabe put down his hand and said, Department head, don't you want to reflect on it? This is the rosy high school life. Our human observation department is about to wallow in the same mire as the soft sound department who drinks tea every day. How do you know about the soft sound department's situation? Rin Kiyono's gaze conveyed the meaning. It's a long story. Let's walk and I'll tell you in detail. After the two of them saluted the teacher on duty at the school gate, they stepped into the campus. The huge oak tree's leaves had all fallen, and sparrows were perched on the bare branches. On a certain night, I turned on the TV and saw that TBS TV was broadcasting a movie called K-On! In the animation of the moment Toru Watanabe started the story with on a certain night, Rin Kiyono stopped listening. He changed into indoor shoes and walked into the classroom. The warm air made his body relax. There was still some time before the morning class meeting. Some people in the class were chatting, and some were working hard to prepare for the exam. Koen Watanabe, good morning. Ikeda Kazumi greeted. Good morning. Toru Watanabe hung his bag on the side of the desk near the corridor, opened the zipper, and took out his textbook and reminiscing of the past. It's almost Christmas, Koen Watanabe. Do you have any plans? I just want to prepare for the final exam, continue to dominate Japan, and continue to be number 1 in the country. If it's Koen Watanabe, it should be easy for you to do it. Thank you for your kind words. Toru Watanabe neatly put his homework aside and opened reminiscing of the past. This book was too heavy. He had to finish it before returning to his hometown. But Christmas must be celebrated well. Why? SKE48 has a song called 1, 2, 3, 4. Please advise. In the single there's a lyric. Christmas, Valentine's Day, birthday. It said that these are the 3 decisive days of love. I have a girlfriend. Koen Watanabe. Ikeda Kazumi took away Toru Watanabe's reminiscing of the past. Don't tell me you think that after dating, the relationship is over? Relationships need to be managed well. Is that so? Of course. Girls are loyal believers of romance. Even Kujo classmate would want to have a romantic Christmas. Today Miki Kujo was not here, and the company seemed to be unusually busy. After school, Toru Watanabe and Rin Kiyono talked about this matter. At that time, the two of them were sitting by the window, playing chess. Through the non-soundproof glass, they could hear the music of the band and the shouts of the sports club in the winter evening. From time to time, the sparrows flew in flocks from the oak tree, and then uniformly landed on the branches again. Are-sen, do you also pursue romance? Toru Watanabe played with the king's chess piece in his hand after he killed the opponent's knight with his chariot. This chess set cost him a lot of money, and it was quite advanced. In addition to the weight of the chess piece, it was also very comfortable to touch. Rin Kiyono put her hand on her chin, thinking, and said, I didn't deliberately think about this kind of thing, but after all, my body is still a girl. I can't reject romantic things. She pinched the queen and moved it a long distance away. Toru Watanabe looked at it. If he insisted on eating the knight with his chariot, he would lose a bishop, and then he would be in danger of being checkmated. Even Kiyono goddess can't resist the temptation of romance. He moved a knight on his side. Does your family celebrate Christmas? It's a dinner gathering. Rin Kiyono stared at the knight's position for a long time. Even big families have dinner gatherings? It's just an excuse to bond. It has nothing to do with Christmas or any other festival. Rin Kiyono began to move the chess piece. After she moved, Toru Watanabe immediately moved with her. Kiyono fell into deep thought again. While she was thinking, Toru Watanabe held his chin with his left hand, and his right hand spun the king's chess piece like a pen, looking out the window. The days were short in winter. It was only a little past 5 o'clock, but the sun was drawing an arc, ready to disappear from the horizon. Nothing happened that day. It was a very ordinary day. It was the daily life that Toru Watanabe dreamed of. By the way, let's talk about the outcome of that game. After the king was eaten, Toru Watanabe said with admiration, Very good, I lost again. You're also very good. Rin Kiyono praised him with the attitude of a winner. The knight is very good. Seigo Rin's competitive spirit was greatly satisfied by the fact that he was able to emerge victorious in a white-hot game, where both sides had a chance to win. However, Toru Watanabe could have won that game. He was unexpectedly talented in chess. In addition, at night in Chiyoda's villa he would deliberately lose to Miki Kujo. Therefore, when the two young ladies played chess, they never brought him along. A 16-year-old male high school student who purposely lost to a beautiful girl is not competitive, and does not work hard to prove himself. Who is such a mature and perfect person? Yes, it's me, Watanabe, a great Tokyo handsome. What are you thinking? The loser, please arrange the chess pieces. Yes, yes. Toru Watanabe put the black and white chess pieces in place. This time I'll play white. The loser has the right to choose. Rin Kiyono was proud as always. The two of them played until the end of the club activity, during which Toru Watanabe won a game with difficulty. A few days passed like this, and it was Monday, December 20th, the first day of the finals week. The Christmas atmosphere on the street was getting stronger and stronger, and the shopping malls were pasted with festive red advertising flyers. The trunks of the trees on the street were decorated with lights. At night, when the lights were turned on, the streets were magnificent, as if they had really come to a fairy tale world. After the biology and English exams in the morning, Tetsumasa Watanabe, Osamu Kanai, and Keisuke Saito were discussing the answers at lunch when Miki Kujo suddenly came to him. As a student of Class 2, she walked in as if Class 4 was her own territory. In the classroom, the originally lively discussion subconsciously quieted down. Why are you here? Did you miss me? Toru Watanabe said with a smile. At this moment, the girls of Class 4 who were peeking at them were all infatuated. If they were in a shoujo manga, at this moment, Toru Watanabe's background should be full of roses, and even his lips and the corners of his eyes should be sexy. Toru Watanabe almost never smiled, except for Rin Kiyono, Miki Kujo, and now Asahi. Miki Kujo ignored his smile. It didn't matter if he was infatuated or not, as long as the person he was smiling at was her. She walked straight over, and the people who were originally surrounding Toru Watanabe quickly dispersed and gathered again. Keisuke Saito even pretended to ask the class monitor a simple history question. Toru Watanabe stood up and gave up his seat. After Miki Kujo sat down, he faced Miki Kujo, leaned on the desk, and played with the automatic pencil in his hand. After the 24th, go to the Human Observation Department. Miki Kujo said. The finals would end in the afternoon of the 24th, and there would be about 2 weeks of winter break. Didn't you say that you don't want to celebrate Christmas? Toru Watanabe held up the pencil so that the refill would fall out. He had asked Miki Kujo about Christmas before, but she said that she was not interested in holidays. Regardless of whether this was true or not, Toru Watanabe planned to secretly dress up as Santa Claus and sneak into her villa in the middle of the night to give her a surprise. Oh right, he would dress up as Santa Claus. According to the agreement, Miki Kujo would also wear a Christmas dress. For this, in addition to his own male Christmas dress, he also bought a female one that revealed her shoulders and had a very short lower body. It was going to be an exciting and memorable Christmas Eve. It was going to be a monumental event. Kiyono's family is going to hold a Christmas party. My mother and I received the invitation. You should come with me. Another boring family gathering. Toru Watanabe pressed the refill out again. I won't go this time. Do you think I'm here to discuss it with you? Miki Kujo flipped through Toru Watanabe's thick notebook. In the notebook, there was a small amount of English, then Spanish, and then French. In the last few pages, there were even pencil drawings of chess pieces. His drawing skills were very average, and he barely looked like he was good at it. What can I do if I go? I'm useless except for eating. Toru Watanabe gave up. Looking at him, Miki Kujo couldn't help but want to laugh. When the laughter reached her mouth, it turned into a sarcastic sneer. You also know that you're useless except for eating? So can I not go? Toru Watanabe put down the pen and held Miki Kujo's hands in his hands. No. Toru Watanabe lowered his head and sighed. Okay. Can you be a little more promising? Miki Kujo said with a cold face. Then, as if she had found someone to share the pain with, she taunted. In the next few decades, there will be a lot of such things. Is this the price of marrying Miki? Miki Kujo grabbed Toru Watanabe's tie. She was clearly sitting, but she stared at Toru Watanabe with a threatening gaze. She said in a cold voice full of murderous intent. Marrying me is unfair to you? Why do I feel that you're getting more and more arrogant recently? Miki, there are so many people here. Give me some face. Toru Watanabe poked her small waist with his finger. Miki Kujo glanced at the people in class 4. Almost everyone was looking at them. She let go of the tie and slowly helped Toru Watanabe tidy up. Then, she got up and left her seat. Crossing her arms and taking 2 steps out of the door, Miki Kujo suddenly turned back. Watanabe, I'll be waiting for you on the 24th. Saying so, she placed her right hand on her soft lips and gave Toru Watanabe a flying kiss. If you don't come, you're dead. Toru Watanabe added for her in his mind. After Miki Kujo left, Toru Watanabe's surroundings instantly exploded. Ah, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Miki Kujo, Santa's actually helping you tidy up your tie. And a flying kiss. Didn't you just touch her hand? That pair of exquisite and noble hands that belong to a young lady. You can actually touch them whenever you want. Tell me, how far have you guys gone? Attending Kiyono-san's Christmas party with Kujo-san. Are you really an ordinary person from Iwate Prefecture? Don't tell me you're the male protagonist of some light novel? Katakawa Bunko, Gangon, MF, or Densetsu. You guessed it right? Toru Watanabe said in surprise. Are you really the male protagonist of some light novel? Yep, I'm from Fong Bunko. Nonsense. Fong Bunko doesn't have any male protagonists. Also, Fong Bunko isn't a light novel. You must be from Gangon Bunko. Hachiman by Kia, who also married a young lady, is from that light novel. Keisuke Saito said with certainty. Since you guys have seen through me, then I can only admit that I'm actually from Densetsu Bunko. Then Toru Watanabe roared in a low voice. Starburst Tray. Shut up. That's Kirito's two-sword stream. Everyone joked and joked as they passed the time between exams. However, Toru Watanabe could tell that these guys were really envious of him. but he didn't know what they were envious of. Only someone as amazing, brave, diligent, hardworking, handsome, honest, from now on hardworking, witty, humble, kind, gentle, and selfless, would be able to be in a relationship with Kujo Maiheim. Only someone like him could do that. Did they think that Miki Kujo was snow under snow? Did they think that they could woo her with their selflessness and gentleness? It was such a good thing, and he was envious. Wait a minute, even Rin Kiyono's narcissism is starting to be like this? No, I have to be more humble and use the adjective amazing. Toru Watanabe, who was good at self-reflection, thought. Chapter 193. After the afternoon exam, Toru Watanabe, Osamu Kanai, and Keisuke Saito planned to go to the family dining room to read books. The family dining room closest to Kanagawa High School is called Bawaka, which is frequented by the surrounding students. In April of this year, in the beverage area, Toru Watanabe used 150,000 yuan to capture Yoshimi Tamamo. At that time, his system had just awakened, and he was 1 month away from his 16th birthday. He worked part-time every day to save money for his family, thinking that he had the world in his hands. As a result, after the Golden Week, just 10 days after May, the world was indeed in his hands, but his world was in the hands of Miki Kujo. Today is the first day of the exam week. The family dining room is almost full of students working hard for tomorrow's exam. Toru Watanabe and the other two are lucky. When they pushed the door open, they saw a couple sitting on the sofa by the window. Toru Watanabe sat alone on one side, while Keisuke Saito and Osamu Kanai sat together. What do you want to eat? Osamu Kanai, who was sitting outside, picked up the menu. I don't need it, I will feel sleepy after eating. Just order a drink for me. Keisuke Saito took out the Mandarin exam from his bag. Watanabe, what about you? Osamu Kanai asked again. Toru Watanabe looked at the menu in his hand. On the new cover, there is a delicate cake pattern, decorated with cherries. This season is the time when the Republic of Chile relies on cherries to make money. Give me a cherries cake and a drink for me, he said. Okay. Osamu Kanai returned the menu to the waiter. I want the best-selling sushi and soba noodles, and a drink for me set. Okay, please wait a moment. After ordering, the three went to the beverage area to get their favorite drinks and read books. Osamu Kanai ate while looking at the modern society. Keisuke Saito was immersed in solving problems. After solving a problem, he immediately compared the answers. If there is a little difference, he will study it hard. If he doesn't understand, he will ask Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe cut a small piece of cake with a knife and fork, ate it while writing and drawing on the math problem book. The three are seriously working hard. Suddenly someone came to talk. Koen Watanabe Saito Koshiai, you also come to the study meeting. Toru Watanabe put the knife in his mouth and looked up. He saw Aoi and Rin Kiyono in winter clothes. In winter clothes. He glanced at Makue and set his eyes on Qingyi Rin. She wore a rather fashionable white windbreaker over her Shenchuan school uniform. The hem of the windbreaker revealed half of her pleated skirt. Further down were her calves, which were covered by black stockings. The curves were beautiful and graceful. Just looking at those legs made Toru Watanabe happier than solving a complicated math problem. Watanabe, what are you looking at? Nothing. Liar. Isn't it enough that you look at me every day in the club? You show that stupid look every time you see me. There haven't been any club activities for 3 days. Do you know how I've been through this? Toru Watanabe finally looked up and met Rin Kiyono's eyes. Koen Watanabe? Aoi Ichiki whispered. Itsuki, why are you here? Toru Watanabe asked. I've been standing here for a long time. I didn't even greet you. That's right. Watanabe, you're too rude. Osamu Kanai chimed in. Sorry, there's a problem with my words. Toru Watanabe said. What I meant was, why are you guys here? The results of the last study session were very good, so I invited Kiyono. I see. Toru Watanabe looked at Aoi Ichiki. Aoi Ichiki felt uncomfortable under his gaze. She recalled the time when she was scolded for having thick legs in the piano club. What's wrong? Aoi Ichiki asked hesitantly. Toru Watanabe pointed at her and turned to Rin Kiyono. Itsuki's taste is exactly the same as mine. Be careful of her. No, it's best to stay away from her. Koen Watanabe. Aoi Ichiki's face was red as she stomped her feet. Osamu Kanai's eyes were wide open. If he didn't know that Aoi Ichiki liked girls, he would have been jealous of Toru Watanabe. Rin Kiyono had a headache. Itsuki, aren't we here to study? Hurry up and find a seat. Oh, okay. Aoi Ichiki looked around the store. It was crowded, and only the bar table was left. Osamu Kanai looked at her expression and immediately said, "Why don't you sit with us? This is a table for 6 people, so it's okay to squeeze." Aoi Ichiki looked at his enthusiasm and hesitated. But she remembered that she took the initiative to ask Rin Kiyono out, so she didn't want to let her come here for nothing. "Thank you, Guojing classmate. Sorry to disturb you," she said politely. "It's okay, you 2 girls can sit together." Osamu Kanai picked up his bag. Keisuke Saito stood up as well. "No need," Rin Kiyono suddenly said. While everyone was puzzled, she looked at Toru Watanabe. "You go over. It's indeed faster for 1 person to move than 2 people," Toru Watanabe said. The other 3 people didn't understand what was going on. They saw him pick up his bag and squeeze Osamu Kanai in, occupying Osamu Kanai's original seat. Toru Watanabe's seat was empty. Aoi Ichiki didn't want to sit there, but Rin Kiyono didn't move, so she had to sit there first. Rin Kiyono took off his windbreaker, tidied it up, and sat in Toru Watanabe's original seat. The waiter came over and took their orders. "I want a honey cake and a drink." While Rin Kiyono was looking at the menu seriously, Aoi Ichiki had already ordered their food skillfully. Rin Kiyono flipped through the menu from beginning to end, but she didn't find anything she wanted to eat. Finally, she asked Toru Watanabe, "Is the cherry cake good?" "The cake is no different from the usual ones. I haven't eaten the cherry yet." Rin Kiyono reached out her fair and slender hand, pinched the cherry stem on the cake, and put it into her mouth. "The sweetness is average." After she commented, she said to the waiter, "Drink." "Thank you." "Okay, please wait a moment." After Rin Kiyono watched the waiter leave, she looked at Toru Watanabe, who was staring at her. She tilted her head slightly in confusion. She spoke to everyone in a very strict tone, and it was the same when she spoke to Toru Watanabe. But listening carefully, there was a slight temperature difference compared to when she spoke to other people. A small part of the time it was hotter, but most of the time it was colder. "Well, you ate my cherry. I saved it for last as a reward for my hard work." "Liar." After judging, Rin Kiyono said confidently, "This is something I just learned recently. If I accidentally eat the same food and drink the same bottle of water with a boy, it will make the boy's heart beat, and he can't help but let his imagination run wild. I didn't even touch the cherry. You call this eating the same food? At least use my fork to eat a bite of the cake, right?" Toru Watanabe handed over the clean fork in his hand. Under the chandelier overhead, the fork reflected the light. Rin Kiyono shrank back slightly with a look of disdain. "Forget about the indirect kiss. How can the heart beat without the indirect kiss? How can you let your imagination run wild?" Toru Watanabe took a small bite of the cake with the knife and fork. "Here, you can have it." Rin Kiyono hid further away with her hands in front of her chest. "Watanabe-san, it's just a cherry. Is it necessary to be like this? If you want to eat it, I can let you eat until you're full every day." "You said that." "Of course." Rin Kiyono frowned slightly as if saying, "What's there to confirm about such a small matter? But I didn't expect you to like eating cherries so much that you won't even give it to me." "I like cherries the most." "Liar." After saying that, Rin Kiyono suddenly put her hand on her chin and slowly smiled. Her expression was no longer fearful, but superior. She said mockingly, "Don't tell me you didn't want to eat cherries just now, but wanted to take the opportunity to flirt with me? That's enough, start studying. You're quite cute, Watanabe-san." Rin Kiyono Kagaya said with a smile. Toru Watanabe turned a deaf ear and picked up a pen to solve a math problem. Math was too beautiful. In this world, there was nothing more beautiful than math. "System, open your eyes. Look at how the players are being bullied by the NPCs. Do something for me. You have a new mail. Toru Watanabe picked up the iced red tea and stirred the ice with a straw. The ice cubes collided with the glass, making a crisp sound. At this time, Aoi Ichiki said, Kiyono-san and Koen Watanabe have such a good relationship. Even though they were sitting at the same table, the three of them could only watch the two of them go back and forth, and no one else could get a word in. It was as if they were performing a couple's crosstalk, the kind where the husband was naughty and the wife was just right to control him. The two of us. Rin Kiyono pulled her hair behind her ear. If we have to choose between a good and a bad relationship, then fine. Aoi Ichiki had never seen such a perfect tsundere. But cute. Super cute. Super cute. In short, she was cute. No wonder Koen Watanabe had a beauty like Kujo-san, but still secretly dated Kiyono-san. It was all because she was too cute. Aoi Ichiki thought that Toru Watanabe was a scumbag, and it was pardonable. If it was her, she wouldn't be able to hold it in either. Toru Watanabe didn't notice Aoi Ichiki's expression. Otherwise, when he became the prime minister in the future, he would definitely make her the head of the cabinet. He pretended to be thinking about math problems and opened the system interface. The scene was familiar, and the system was activated during a math class. Temporary event. Game time, December 21st, 1612. Tokyo on Christmas Day is decorated like a dream. The streets are filled with romance as the lights are lit. Event content. On Christmas Day, kiss your lover Miki Kujo, friend Rin Kiyono, lover Mayasahi, or teacher Aona Koizumi under the local landmark, Sky Tower or Tokyo Tower. Event time, December 25th before midnight. Event reward. Ability to select a specific skill every month. Special reward 1. Player kisses Miki Kujo and Mayasahi, 1 New Year gift pack. Special reward 2. Player kisses Miki Kujo and Aona Koizumi, 1 quality plus 1 New Year gift pack. Special reward 3. Player kisses Miki Kujo and Rin Kiyono, 1 quality plus 3 New Year gift pack. Special reward 4. Player kisses 4 people, 1 quality plus 4 New Year gift pack. Hint. Special reward can only be triggered once, December 25th at midnight. Toru Watanabe could understand kissing Rin Kiyono and Mayasahi, but what did this have to do with Koizumi-sensei? System. I'm letting you use it, not for you to mess around. However, this event could be said to be the most conscientious in history, and the basic event reward was almost guaranteed. On the night of the 24th, he only needed to kiss Miki Kujo under Tokyo Tower or Sky Tower. Special reward 1. Kissing Miki Kujo and Mayasahi could also be fought for. As for the other 3, Toru Watanabe chose to give up. Aside from his teacher Aona Koizumi, he himself was not willing to kiss Rin Kiyono for the sake of the system's mission reward. The waiter brought Aoi Ichiki's honey cake, and the 5 of them focused on studying. At 6 o'clock, they prepared to rest for a while and continue studying after dinner. Just as they were discussing what to eat, someone pushed open the door of the family dining room and entered. Toru Watanabe and the others could see them as soon as they entered the room. This was also the reason why Toru Watanabe and the others were able to grab a seat the moment the couple stood up, and Aoi Ichiki easily found them. Tap tap tap. Amid the melodious footsteps, the lively atmosphere of the family dining room changed. It was as if the bustling metropolis had suddenly turned into a green forest with the crisp chirping of birds. When Toru Watanabe heard this sound, he subconsciously thought, "This customer is in a good mood." Just as he was thinking, Aoi Ichiki, who was sitting opposite him, suddenly stood up and waved in the direction of the door. "Senpai Mai." Toru Watanabe did not bat an eyelid. He and the other 2 boys turned their heads and looked at the person who had just arrived. The tall and pretty Mayasahi, who was wearing a blue windbreaker and carrying a backpack, walked towards them expressionlessly. Her footsteps clicked as she stood beside everyone's table. "Good evening, Senpai Mai." Aoi Ichiki stood up happily. "Good evening." Mayasahi replied calmly. "Senpai Mai, are you here for dinner too? Are you alone? Do you want to join us?" The scene in front of him and Aoi Ichiki's reaction felt familiar to Toru Watanabe, as if he had seen it somewhere before. Okay. After agreeing, Masahi looked at Rin Kiyono emotionlessly. Rin Kiyono stood up and walked into the aisle. Aoi Ichiki hurriedly removed the backpack and clothes from the sofa. Masahi did not move. She continued to look at Rin Kiyono and said in a calm and pleasant voice, "I like to sit outside." "I don't mind if it's outside, but I don't like to sit opposite men," Rin Kiyono said. "That." Toru Watanabe pointed at himself. "I know you're human, Toru Watanabe." Rin Kiyono crossed her arms and made a pose that said she would never sit in the middle. There were many types of people. Toru Watanabe didn't say that they were all men. Toru Watanabe didn't say that out loud. Masahi also stood there without moving. The scene froze. The restaurant was very lively, but it was as silent as the eye of a typhoon. The waiters who were about to order did not dare to come forward. They thought that Masahi was here to catch them in the act. At this moment, only the brave and responsible can stand up. Toru Watanabe, who was also sitting in the aisle, stood up. "Senior Mai, please have a seat." Masahi looked at him for 3 seconds, nodded, and was about to sit down. "Wait." Aoi Ichiki picked up her backpack and jacket. "Kawaii-san, can we change seats?" Okay." In short, after a series of changes, the seating arrangement was as follows. The side facing away from the restaurant door. Aisle, Masahi happy, Aoi Ichiki excited, Keisuke Saito cowering in the corner. Window. The side facing the restaurant door. Aisle, Rin Kiyono none. Toru Watanabe thinking about going back. Osamu Kanai earning. Window. Chapter 194. After the sky turned dark, the restaurant started playing Christmas songs during dinner time. Jingle Bells by Child's Christmas's favorites. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells. The atmosphere in the restaurant was lively. Under the warm lighting, the customers ate happily. The 5 of them rang the bell, called the waiter, and ordered their own dinner. Toru Watanabe ate potato curry and grilled chicken skewers. The rich curry taste was slightly spicy, and he ate it with rice. After chewing and swallowing, he picked up the grilled chicken skewers. He bit a piece of chicken and a piece of shiitake mushroom, and pulled them into his mouth. The grease exploded in his mouth. At this moment he experienced the joy and satisfaction of eating. It's almost Christmas. Aoi Ichiki held a French fry dipped in ketchup. Christmas trees have been put up in many places, and some shopping malls are already having discounts. Osamu Kanai took a big bite of his hamburger, and chewed as he spoke. Discounts. I want to buy New Year's clothes. Aoi Ichiki said. My family also ordered a Christmas cake in advance. Keisuke Saito said. Aoi Ichiki's gaze drifted to Masahi. Masahi, do you have a date for Christmas? No. Masahi focused on eating her curry rice. Then do you want to go shopping with me? Eat KFC and buy clothes? Senpai has already received a recommendation from Tokyo University, so you can play to your heart's content. Aoi Ichiki said smoothly. She had probably thought about this for a long time. There's a family gathering. I see. Aoi Ichiki tried not to appear too disappointed. Kiyono classmate, do you have a date for Christmas? Rin Kiyono wiped her mouth with a napkin, and was about to answer when Toru Watanabe spoke first. Itsuki classmate, what do you want? His eyes were filled with suspicion and warning. Koen Watanabe, you misunderstood me. I'm just asking. Aoi Ichiki explained unhappily. What are you trying to explain? I'm asking you what you're going to do for Christmas. Toru Watanabe asked in confusion. Rin Kiyono glanced at him. Who would believe you? Aoi Ichiki muttered, and then said, I'm going to go out with my friends in the band. What about you, Koen Watanabe? I'm going to Kiyono's classmate's house. Mukue exclaimed in surprise. Mayasami stopped eating and looked at Toru Watanabe expressionlessly. No one doubted him. Even Koishio and Saito Keisuke stared at Toru Watanabe in surprise. Anyways, didn't these two know the inside story? Aoi Ichiki quickly asked. Then what about Kujo classmate? She's your real girlfriend. Aren't you going to spend Christmas with her? Is that really okay? Broke up? Masahi asked lightly. Toru Watanabe sighed and didn't say a word. At the small table of 5, the atmosphere became silent and awkward. The store was still playing Jingle Bells on loop. The smell of all kinds of food rushed to the tip of the nose, and the warm air blew through the hair. At the next table, the child who was blowing on the soup dumplings innocently said to his parents that he hoped Santa Claus would give him a real Gundam this year. Rin Kiyono rolled her eyes at Toru Watanabe and sighed helplessly. She explained, "My family is holding a party. He's going to attend it with Kujo classmate." "So that's how it is. You scared me to death. I thought I asked something I shouldn't have asked." "Kun Watanabe, you're too annoying," Aoi Ichiki said angrily. Tomorrow, Mai continued to eat the curry with a spoon, taking small bites. Her lips were pink and seductive, like a flower bud. It made people want to protect her, but also aroused evil thoughts to destroy her. But if that's the case, then Kiyono classmate won't be able to come out and play on Christmas Eve, right? Aoi Ichiki said regretfully for Rin Kiyono. "Yumiki classmate," Rin Kiyono said without interest. "It's already been 2 semesters of first year. Instead of playing, why don't you think about whether you should choose the arts or the science department in second year? Do you want to go to a public school or a private school?" "I haven't seriously thought about this. What about everyone? Arts or science?" Aoi Ichiki rolled the fries in the ketchup and looked at the other 4 first-year students. "I'll choose science." Keisuke Saito, who couldn't fit into the atmosphere, said his second sentence. "Then I'll also choose science." Osamu Kunai casually decided. "Watanabe, you should also choose science. Maybe when the time comes, the 3 of us can continue to be in the same class." Toru Watanabe thought for a moment and replied, "We'll talk about this later. I'm not sure." He didn't know if it was because he had been reading novels recently, but compared to science, he preferred arts. But whether it was arts or science, it didn't matter. He didn't plan to become a scientist, nor did he have the idea of becoming a writer. He was very clear about what he was doing now. He also had a clear goal, such as winning first place in the country. But when he graduated, what would he do? Thinking about this, Toru Watanabe suddenly felt a little lost. "Have you thought about what you plan to do in the future?" Rin Kiyono, who was about to say her choice of arts and science, heard his question and changed her words. "Inherit the family business." She frowned slightly, as if she felt helpless about this kind of life. She obviously didn't like it, but out of responsibility and obligation, she had to do it. Toru Watanabe looked away from Rin Kiyono's face and looked at the person opposite her. "What about tomorrow?" he asked. Mai Mingming drank a mouthful of iced red tea, and only used her pair of clear eyes to show a faint pondering expression. After 3 or 4 seconds she said softly, "Music. Is it the bass horn?" When talking to Mayasahi, Aoi Ichiki's voice was always lighter. Mayasahi shook her head gently, her bangs swaying. Under the dining room lights, it looked like a sparkling lake. "Oboe." Rin Kiyono's big black pearl-like eyes moved to the far right and stared at Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe looked at her in confusion, then picked up the chicken skewers. "You want to eat?" he asked with his eyes. Rin Kiyono looked away. "Why? Senior's bass horn is so good." Aoi Ichiki looked at Mayasahi in confusion. Mayasahi looked at Toru Watanabe. "Watanabe, it's very good. I want to try." Because of this, Aoi Ichiki seemed to understand. "When I heard Kun Watanabe's oboe, I was also shocked. I didn't know there was such a beautiful instrument." She suddenly waved her arm. "It's decided. I also want to continue playing and become a professional bass horn player. I want to join the same performance group as Senior. Senpai, wait for me." Mayasahi nodded indifferently. "What about Koi-san and Seitu-san? What do you plan to do in the future?" Only Aoi Ichiki cared about the 2 of them. "I want to be a star baseball player who earns $500 million a year," Osamu Kunai said with a raised face. "I want to work in the video game industry and make good games." Compared to the others who were just talking about it, Keisuke Saito's expression was more serious. He just wanted to talk about girly games, right? Is desire really the greatest motivation for people? Tetsumasa Watanabe was thinking about his own desires when Aoi Ichiki asked him, "Kun Watanabe, what do you plan to do in the future?" Toru Watanabe had finished his curry, so he put down his spoon and wiped his hands with a wet towel. "It's because I don't know what to do that I'm asking you guys," he said. Rin Kiyono also finished her dinner and gave Watanabe a contemptuous smile. "Watanabe-san, if you can't find a job, you can come find me. Are you going to support me? Can't you be a little more mature? I think you're still capable of cleaning the toilet. If I'm only responsible for your toilet, I think I can still accept." "Shut up. Capitalist's face is always changing," Toru Watanabe said with a face full of hatred for the rich. When Rin Kiyono sighed with a headache, Aoi Ichiki changed the topic. "Kun Watanabe, what was your childhood dream?" "Childhood dream?" "Yes." Aoi Ichiki nodded. She said, "Childhood dreams are usually unrealistic, right? But with Kun Watanabe's excellence, even if it's unrealistic, you can still try. Before you can find a goal. How about trying out your childhood dream?" "What Yumiki-sen said makes sense." "That's right." Osamu Kunai shouted as if he remembered something. "I remember, didn't you aspire to be the prime minister since you were young?" His voice was very loud, and the family at the next table looked over. Except for Toru Watanabe, Rin Kiyono, and Mayasahi, the other two people at the table were very embarrassed. "Lower your voice." Keisuke Saito scolded in a low voice. Osamu Kunai lowered his head in embarrassment and continued to eat his burger. Toru Watanabe didn't correct the phrase, "aspire to be the prime minister." Nor did he say that his childhood dream was to be a civil servant who just lived and died. "Yumiki-san, what was your childhood dream?" Toru Watanabe asked. "Me? My childhood dream was to open a cake shop before kindergarten and eat it whenever I wanted. After elementary school, I wanted to marry Xiangxiang from the Ueno Zoo. I haven't given up on this dream yet." Xiangxiang panda female. Speaking of pandas, Aoi Ichiki's face was full of excitement. She continued, "Every year I go to the Ueno Zoo to see pandas. When I take a bath, I watch videos of them on YouTube. I heard that every family in China's Sichuan province has a panda. I'm so envious. I want to raise one too." "Oh." Toru Watanabe didn't know what to say for a moment. He said helplessly, "Yumiki-san, that's fake. How can every family have one? I saw a lot of China's comments on Twitter and YouTube. There are even pictures. Then it's real." After dinner, everyone continued to study. Aoi Ichiki had the idea of trying it out and asked Mayasahi to stay and teach her homework. She didn't expect it to succeed. She almost jumped up in joy. There was only the sound of pen scratching on paper at the dining table. "Senpai, how do you solve this question?" Aoi Ichiki moved the textbook between the two of them. In the process of moving, she accidentally touched the pen. The pen slid down the smooth table and rolled on the ground for a while before finally stopping at Rin Kiyono's feet. Rin Kiyono put down the pen, tucked her hair behind her ear, and bent down to pick it up. "Thank you, Kiyono." Rin Kiyono returned the pen to Aoi Ichiki and picked up her own pen. When she was about to continue, she suddenly asked, "Senpai, do you have the habit of taking off your shoes?" "Don't answer, don't answer, don't answer." This was Toru Watanabe's mental state. "I'm sorry." Mayasahi put her sore feet back into her shoes. "Don't apologize, it's okay. A lot of Japanese people have the habit of taking off their shoes. I was just asking." Senpai took off her shoes. Aoi Ichiki's face was full of regret. "If I had known, I would have picked it up myself." After this small interlude, they continued to work on the questions. "This question is very simple. Think about it again." Mayasahi looked at the question and continued to play with her phone. "Okay." Aoi Ichiki weakly moved her textbook back. The study session lasted until 9 o'clock. Everyone parted ways in front of the shop. "Thank you for your hard work today. Do your best for tomorrow's exam." Aoi Ichiki waved goodbye to everyone. "I'll send you back," Toru Watanabe said to Rin Kiyono. "Okay." Rin Kiyono nodded lightly. Just as the system said, Tokyo was decorated like a dream during Christmas. The street lights on the trees were lit up, and the streets were filled with a romantic atmosphere. At the entrance of many shops, the employees were already dressed in Christmas clothes. The two of them walked along the brightly lit street and looked at the windows with Christmas decorations. Haven't you thought about what you want to do in the future? Rin Kiyono asked. Toru Watanabe stopped looking at the reindeer antlers on the window and looked at the winter street in front of him. There's no need to rush. Some people go to university after they have thought about what they want to do, but most people only know what they want to do after they go to university. Most people who think like that don't want to do anything in the end. Toru Watanabe turned his head. Rin Kiyono's beautiful face was even more adorable with the white scarf. Amidst the sound of the wheels on the road, he smiled and said, "Those who don't want to do anything after 4 years will understand the fact that they don't want to do anything." Sophistry. Rin Kiyono rolled her eyes at him. A song came from the shop next to them. The rain will turn to snow after midnight. Silent night, holy night. You definitely won't come Christmas alone. What song is this? Toru Watanabe stopped and asked Rin Kiyono. Silent Night, by Yamashita Tatsuro. Rin Kiyono replied. The rain will turn to snow after midnight. Toru Watanabe hummed the song and danced to the rhythm. He learned the dance from the United States. Looking at his comical movements, Rin Kiyono was helpless and amused. She couldn't do anything about him. When she laughed, Toru Watanabe became even more proud. Miss Kiyono, do you want to watch the moment when the rain turns to snow with me on Christmas Eve? Okay. Rin Kiyono nodded. Toru Watanabe stopped what he was doing. What did you just say? He asked. Anyway, the party is private. Although I can't leave alone, if you and Kujo classmate join, my family will allow us to come out. What's going on? He was just in a good mood and casually asked the lyrics. Was he going to kiss Miki Kujo in front of Rin Kiyono? Rin Kiyono noticed his expression. What's wrong with you, Kiori-san? Toru Watanabe put his backpack back on his back, which fell down because of the dance. Do you know White Album? What's that? It's a long story. Let's walk and talk. In the shop, Toru Watanabe's voice could be vaguely heard as he walked away. One night, I turned on the TV and saw Tokyo MX broadcasting. Chapter 195. In Japan, after the final exam, the students will continue to attend classes for a period of time. Without exams, the students who are waiting for their grades and holidays treat school as a class reunion. These days, Toru Watanabe, Osamu Kanai, and Keisuke Saito play paper backgammon in the classroom. Backgammon was a gift from Kazumi Ikeda when she bought a magazine. Girls don't play it, so she gave it to them. 4 points, 4 points. Osamu Kanai prayed while shaking the dice in his hand. While waiting, Toru Watanabe's phone vibrated. Kamigawa has no restrictions on mobile phones except for classes, but when your grades drop, the second thing is to tell you. How about trying to stay away from mobile phones for a period of time? By the way, the first thing is, cram school is not bad. Classmate, do you want to consider it? The above is what Toru Watanabe heard, and he can't guarantee the authenticity of the information. This time the math paper is very smooth. I'm looking forward to the exam results for the first time. Kumiko, what? Let me tell you why I'm so good. I've already taken out my pen, please. Before you succeed in something, you have to be calm but full of excitement. I feel like you're asking for a beating. You feel the same? To be honest, I've been holding back for a long time. Tetsumasa Watanabe is about to explain, but a voice calls him from the back door. Watanabe classmate, come out. The voice is cold and pleasant. No. Toru Watanabe deletes the chat history on his phone. Doubt flashed across Ching Yi-rin's face, which was well liked by everyone. I have something to talk to you about. Let's talk after school. Ching Yi-rin was getting impatient. His gaze was as sharp as an arrow as it shot towards him. Come out. Yes, Minister. Toru Watanabe gets up and walks over. Behind him, Keisuke Saito and Osamu Kanai looked at him sympathetically. When he was 3 steps away from Rin Kiyono, Toru Watanabe stopped. What's the matter? If it's a confession, Please allow me to refuse. Looking at him, Rin Seno stared at him with a scrutinizing gaze. What have you done to me? She asked. What do you mean by sorry? Speaking ill of me. Don't you have something to do? Rin Kiyono glared at him with dissatisfaction and coldly said, Go back and tell Kujo classmate that she can wear casual clothes for tomorrow's party. After the exam, Miki Kujo completely disappeared from the campus. These days, Toru Watanabe went to Chiyo Field. At night, he lay in bed and she was busy. He even suspected that Miki Kujo was already dealing with next year's matters. Why do you have to personally tell me what to wear? Toru Watanabe was puzzled. You're not the only one who wants to improve our relationship. Rin Kiyono's mouth showed a trace of ridicule, and then said in a relaxed tone, But now that I have you, I don't have to talk to her anymore. Toru Watanabe nodded, indicating that he understood. He suddenly thought of a possibility and casually asked, So if one of you and Miki Kujo is a boy, then wouldn't you two get married? Rin Kiyono showed a nauseous expression for the first time. Even so, she was still very cute. It was so cute that it was like an arrogant penguin, taking arrogant steps, walking to your feet and pecking at your feet. Then this penguin raised its head and looked at you with Are you scared? Look. The Rin Kiyono in front of him was just that cute. Even if it's a boy and a girl, we can't get married. Why? If you have time to talk bad about me, why don't you use your brain more? Rin Kiyono's voice suddenly turned cold. Don't think about a girl's legs all day long. After the penguin Kiyono said this, she flipped her long hair over her shoulder, and arrogantly turned around and walked away. I don't think about it all the time, I only think about it for 2 hours every day. Toru Watanabe explained to her back that hadn't gone far yet. This was the only thing that needed to be explained properly. He didn't know if it was an illusion or not, but Rin Kiyono suddenly seemed to have trouble walking, and then she quickened her pace. In this joyous atmosphere, inadvertently, it was December 24th. Christmas Eve, the last day before the winter vacation, was called Holy Night by the girls. Aona Koizumi stood on the podium with a report card in her hand. In private, she was very amiable and treated the students like an older sister. However, when she stood in the podium, her beautiful oval face would deliberately put on a serious expression, and her voice would also carry the dignity of a teacher. Like now. Another year is about to pass. Students, the future is not unreachable. The 3 years of high school will pass in the blink of an eye. Only the 3rd semester of next year is left in the 1st year of high school. You must consider the division of arts and science as soon as possible. She looked around. The classroom was silent. Some people straightened their backs and looked at her. Some people lowered their heads, and no one knew what they were thinking. Some people had already packed their things, and were just waiting to get their report cards. They stuffed them into their backpacks and quickly went to play. For this final exam, students who want to go to art should take a good look at your results. Those who want to go to science should also take a look at your results. Then think carefully about what to do during the winter vacation. Sometimes interest is the best teacher, but following your talent is also a choice. You are not young anymore. You should understand that a choice can affect your life. Also, no matter if you want to go to arts or science, the deviation score for this exam is below 65 in the country. Koizumi Aonai's gaze swept through some people. After a short silence, she continued. You have fallen out of the top 5% in the country. Results can't decide your life, but they can't be an obstacle in your life. Now, I will be handing out the report cards. Students whose names are called, please come up and collect them. Nakayama Rina. Yes. Tamura Fusey. Yes. Ikeda Kazumi. Yes. Toru Watanabe. Yes. Toru Watanabe's first year in Kamigawa ended just like that. Kyoto, Hokkaido. After school, after cleaning. In the cheerful atmosphere of the winter vacation, some people sat in the classroom, sighing at their report cards. Some girls even cried. Although she felt sorry for her classmate, Kumiko was so happy that she wanted to sing. Kumiko, did you do well in the exam? Lena tilted her head and asked on the way to the music department. Did I tell Lena? You're humming. Kumiko covered her mouth and widened her eyes. I already sang? Lena looked at her and laughed. How did you do? Not as good as you, Lena. Kumiko couldn't help but smile. Isn't that a given? Lena rolled her eyes. When I was studying, Kumiko, think about what you were doing. I was studying too. Really? Oh, I just didn't study as long as you, Lena. In order to change the topic, Kumiko took out her report card from her bag. Lena took it directly. There was not a single crease on the report card. Mandarin. Math. You improved a lot in math, Lena said in surprise. The deviation score is only 64. You were only 49 in the last mock exam, right? 49. 0. 2 is enough to leave a few dozen people behind. I don't know what you're so persistent about. Lena sighed. Math and your base, is it all because of your 2 advanced magic potion crafting books? Because Kumiko had been reading these 2 books all day, her bass playing skills improved by leaps and bounds. In math, she even started to teach others questions. Plus, she didn't want to show it to others, so some students who liked Harry Potter called these 2 books Advanced Magic Potion Crafting by the Half-Blood Prince. This title has unknowingly spread. Just now, when she received her report card, the class teacher who was in a good mood used this topic to make fun of Kumiko. Not all of it. Sometimes I would ask the Half-Blood Prince himself. The Half-Blood Prince, Toru Watanabe, he didn't know anything. Kumiko could imagine, if she told him this title, with Toru Watanabe's personality, he would definitely say, Half-Blood Prince? Who are you looking down on? At least Voldemort, right? Kumiko wanted to laugh when she thought of his arrogant look. But you're English. Lena looked at the deviation value of 56. I've already decided, I won't go to a university where English is required. Didn't you want to be an English teacher? I found out that I like math more. I'd be a fool to believe you. During the midterm exam, I still remember you saying that you won't go to a university where mathematics is required. Kumiko was a little embarrassed when Lena exposed her. She scratched her cheek and said, Then I can only ask the Half-Blood Prince again. The next time I see him, I'll ask him for another English notebook. Oh right, Lena, how's your English? Lena was preparing to go to a music university abroad. Here. Lena took out her report card. All subjects have a deviation value of 72? That's amazing. English single subject deviation value. 79.4. Kumiko was so shocked that she stopped in her tracks. Lena also stopped and said seriously, English is the foundation for me to pursue music abroad. Of course I have to treat it seriously. 79. For when can I reach 70? Oh right, what's 79? For in the country? I don't know. Can I check? Kumiko took out her phone. Lena nodded. If it's Kumiko, it's fine. Kumiko's mood became even better after hearing Lena's words. She could check the individual results of the national exam online, including the score, deviation value, ranking, and national average. 2,396th place, that's amazing. If she keeps this up, she should be able to go to a university in Tokyo for another year, and then go abroad. Absolutely no problem. Kumiko was even more confident than Lena herself. Lena stared at Kumiko, then suddenly reached out her hand and pushed a strand of hair behind Kumiko's ear. At this moment, Kumiko really wanted to reach out and press Lena's hand on her face. In order to resist this strange impulse, she opened her mouth and said, Do you want to ask that guy about his results? Half-Blood Prince. Kumiko wanted to laugh when she heard this stupid title. Yes, Half-Blood Prince. Then let's go and ask him. Lena said. Okay. Send me your results. The reply was very quick. Forget it. But after a few steps, Kumiko stopped again. What's wrong? Lena looked at her suspiciously. That guy seems to have screwed up. Really? Lena laughed and tucked her hair behind her ear. Kumiko didn't notice her friend's expression and started to move again while typing on her phone. Send me. When Toru Watanabe sent her his results, she was ready to complain. For example, what kind of regression is this? You're even better than the first place in our school. You should have no problem getting into Tokyo University. Really, forget it. How about an exchange? I'll send you my terrible results, and you can also send them to me. Without waiting for the other party to refuse, Kumiko sent her results. How can it be worse than my English? She thought to herself. 10 seconds later, the other party sent a picture. Following the picture was an emoji of a white-faced geisha. The geisha was covering her face with her hands, and the caption was, "Ah, so embarrassing." This guy. Kumiko cursed angrily. What's wrong? Lena asked. Look. Kumiko gave her the phone. Lena opened the picture, and the column was particularly eye-catching. It was all in the 144-9951 format. He even used my emoji pack. Kumiko said unwillingly. This guy has been annoying for a long time. Lena returned the phone to Kumiko. Kumiko took the phone and looked at the so embarrassing emoji. She hesitantly opened her mouth. Lena. Yes. Do you think someone like Watanabe is a special existence? No. Kumiko looked at Lena doubtfully. Yes. Lena switched the box in her hand from one hand to the other. A special person is someone who has the determination to become the best, the most outstanding person, the most valuable person in the group, and the most indispensable. Then he's not a special existence. He's number one in the country, and his oboe is also frighteningly good. Kumiko, let me finish. Lena said angrily. Sorry, Lena, please continue. What's important isn't your current level, but the determination to become the best, and always working hard for it. This kind of person is a special person. After saying that, Lena added, don't worry. Someone like him, who can easily get number one in everything, it's impossible for him to have that kind of determination. Then what if it's because he wants to be the best, and worked hard until now, and succeeded? Lena unhappily bumped Kumiko with her shoulder. Are you helping him, or me? Kumiko pretended to rub her shoulder in pain. Of course I'm helping Lena. Lena snorted. If he's a special person, then that's for the best. I want to beat him in the national competition next year. And become an even more special person. That's impossible. Kumiko immediately covered her mouth and stared at Lena with wide eyes. This time Lena didn't hit her. Instead, she helplessly rolled her eyes. Kumiko, after today's practice, do you want to come to my house for Christmas? Kumiko smiled. Lena was embarrassed by her stare. She turned her face away and asked angrily, Are you going or not? Of course I'm going. Kumiko hurriedly agreed. I'm smiling because actually, I also want to invite Lena to my house. We both want to go together. What are you eating tonight? Fried chicken cake, that's normal. Which restaurant does the fried chicken belong to? This. I think it's from Morse Burger. Then let's go to your house. My family ordered KFC, I'm already sick of it. Do you want to stay over after dinner? I'll let you sleep on my bed, I'll sleep on the floor. Kumiko began to look forward to dinner tonight. This winter vacation, there were too many happy things. Suddenly, she received so much happiness. Was it really good? Would it be exchanged for the next 2 years of high school life? No, I can't be too happy. Next year, I still have to enter the national competition, get the national gold, and show off in front of that guy. Hold it in for now, Kumiko. Okay. Lena opened the soundproof door of the music classroom. Only a few people chose to continue practicing today. But don't be shy, we'll sleep on the same bed. Sleep on the same bed. What's wrong? Lena looked at the suddenly excited Kumiko strangely. Kumiko hurriedly waved her hands. I'm definitely not thinking of anything strange. That's suspicious. But, Lena smiled. It doesn't matter, I don't hate it. Lena, you're indeed a little shy. Chapter 196. After exiting the chat with Kumiko, Toru Watanabe sent his report card to his mother. He put away his phone and said goodbye to his classmates. They could only meet again when the third semester starts next year. As soon as he walked out of the classroom, the blackboard eraser couple from the third class was chasing each other again. The girl couldn't outrun them, so she stood still and shouted, "If you run again, I'll take your bag and you won't be able to go home today. Where else can I go? You want to go to the hotel with me? But you're too ugly." The boy shouted back. The girl turned around and went back to the third class. "You really want to take it? Wait a minute." The boy rushed into class 3's classroom. In the end, his face was smeared with chalk dust by the girl hiding by the door. The chase continued, but it became a boy chasing a girl. "Please, let's go to the hotel." Toru Watanabe, who suffered an unexpected calamity and ate a face full of chalk dust, waved his hand to wipe away the dust while pleading in his heart. After passing through the smoky area, he raised his head and saw the beautiful girl holding her bag smiling at him. "These two are so annoying." He walked forward and complained to the beautiful girl. "Here." Rin Kiyono pointed at him and said. Toru Watanabe flicked his hair by his right ear, and the chalk dust could be seen scattering everywhere. "Anything else?" He turned his head left and right. Rin Kiyono tilted her head and looked at him for a while. "No, let's go." The two of them walked toward the club building. "I'll deal with them sooner or later." "Ow. How about deliberately tripping them? I don't recommend that." The two of them went up to the 5th floor. The corridor was covered in the afternoon sun. The winter sky was clear and blue. Half of a plane cloud was drawn. If you looked carefully, you would see a plane leisurely heading to its destination. After opening the door of the activity room, you could see Miki Kujo curled up on the sofa. She was sleeping soundly. Her fair and delicate face had lost its usual nobility and pride and became cute. Her bulging chest rose and fell slightly with her breathing. Her waist was slender, and further down were her beautiful legs wrapped in black stockings. They were well proportioned and slender. "Miki." Toru Watanabe gently shook her shoulder. Miki Kujo slowly opened her eyes. She stared blankly for a moment as if she was still unconscious. Then she lazily stretched out her hand. Toru Watanabe held her hand and pulled her up. Kujio Miyoshi took the opportunity to lean into his embrace and skillfully wrapped her arms around his neck. She said in a sleepy voice, "Help me put on my shoes." "How can I help you put it on like this?" "Sit down and I'll put it on for you." Miki Kujo simply lay back down. She lifted her right leg and passed it to Toru Watanabe. Her knee-length pleated skirt slipped down, revealing a bit of the scenery underneath. Through the high-quality black stockings, he could vaguely see the traces of her underwear. Rin Kiyono, who was waiting by the side, turned his cold face away in disgust. While helping Miki Kujo put on her shoes, Toru Watanabe asked, "Do you want to go back and change into your normal clothes or go directly to Kiyono's house?" "Let's go buy something first," Miki Kujo said with her eyes closed. "Buy something?" "Yeah." Miki Kujo was about to fall asleep again. After putting on her shoes and pulling her up, Miki Kujo finally woke up. "What do you want to buy?" Toru Watanabe asked. Rin Kiyono sighed. When Tetsumesa Watanabe was curious why she sighed, Miki Kujo explained impatiently. "Christmas present." "Christmas present?" "My mother and Seino-rin's mother do all sorts of weird things all day long." Toru Watanabe understood and said with a smile, "They want you to exchange presents to ease your relationship." Compared to easing our relationship, they want to play by themselves more. The three of them walked out of the activity classroom, and Rin Kiyono locked the door. The school building was full of people. The people who hated the school and couldn't wait to bulldoze it were now leaving the school leisurely. The people who rode bicycles to school were also pushing their bicycles and chatting with their classmates who were walking. The three of them got into Miki Kujo's car and went to the Rabiya shopping mall. The mall was spacious and there were rows upon rows of shops, one after the other, one floor after another. The crowd was surging and everyone was carrying big and small bags. There were also Christmas songs that could be heard anywhere in the mall. In the mall's atrium, there was a huge Christmas tree with many gift boxes and lights on it. It wasn't night yet, but the lights were all lit up. On the stage in front of the Christmas tree, the mall was holding a Princess Carrie girlfriend contest. The one who lasted the longest could win a $5,000 voucher. "What are you going to buy? Deliberately give the other party something they don't like?" Toru Watanabe asked with some curiosity. If that was the case, it would be a very interesting scene. I would like to do that, but unfortunately, Rin Kiyono looked at the dense crowd and slightly frowned. My mother and the others also like to play the game of exchanging presents. They also exchange presents? Toru Watanabe was surprised. Can I ask? Who will be attending the party this time? The three of us and our mothers. Miki Kujo said and turned into a boutique that sold bags. The two of them followed her inside. Each bag was placed on its own shelf. There were even a few bags locked in sturdy transparent cabinets. Under the bright light, these bags were like exhibits. Unfortunately, Toru Watanabe didn't know the brand of the bag. The female shop assistant with exquisite makeup followed them a few steps away. She didn't look down on them just because they were wearing student uniforms. Just the four of you and me? Is it better if I don't go? Toru Watanabe said. Miki Kujo was holding a bag and looking at it. Hearing his words, she looked over. Why, in your heart, do you still see them as the opposite sex? She asked with a smile. That's a strange question. Toru Watanabe said. Should I treat them as the opposite sex? I'm asking you. Stop, I want to apply for outside help. Toru Watanabe made a stop gesture. Miki Kiyono, tell me. How should I answer without making my girlfriend angry? Of course, it would be better if I can make her happy. Let's break up. Rin Kiyono touched the corner of her mouth and suggested with a smile. This can't do. Miki Kujo glared at Toru Watanabe. She put down the bag in her hand, crossed her arms and asked him. Let's change the question, which bag is the ugliest here? Which bag is the ugliest? Toru Watanabe looked around. There weren't many bags in the shop. Finally, he pointed at a brown bag locked in the cabinet and said, This one is the ugliest. We'll take it. Miki Kujo said to the shop assistant. The three of them looked outstanding. The two beautiful girls had a noble temperament. The only boy looked frivolous, but his every move was full of confidence. Even though they were wearing student uniforms, the shop assistant would immediately wrap up a normal bag for them. Sir, this bag is a limited edition. It's so ugly, limited edition? Toru Watanabe said in disbelief. Not only did the shop assistant maintain her smile, but she became even friendlier. It was as if Toru Watanabe said a joke and she laughed along. She pressed one hand on her lower abdomen and introduced the bag in the cabinet with the other. This bag is the classic design of this product when it was first created. It has been 172 years since then. The aesthetic is different from now, but it can be passed down for generations. Okay. Miki Kujo said impatiently, wrap it up. Sir, the price of this bag. Miki Kujo looked at Toru Watanabe and said, Go pay. I don't have that much money. Toru Watanabe's answer was straightforward. Unfortunately, it was a lie. Troublesome. Miki Kujo said impatiently. She looked around and aimed at Rin Kiyono. Give me your card. Why? Rin Kiyono crossed her arms and looked at her. Do you think I'll carry money with me? I'll pay you back 10 times on the bus. 10 times. The shop assistant began to wonder if the three of them were acting. At this time, Rin Kiyono took out a black card, but she didn't give it to Miki Kujo. Instead, she gave it to the shop assistant. I'll take that bag. Please wrap it up like a Christmas present for me. Yes, ma'am. Rin Kiyono looked at Miki Kujo and smiled sarcastically. I'm looking forward to tonight's gift exchange. Miki Kujo's face was horrified. In Toru Watanabe's eyes, her black and straight hair was blown up by her murderous aura. She was completely demonized. Miki. He put his hands on her shoulders and said seriously, There's no such thing as the ugliest, only uglier. It's still early. Let's keep looking. Miki Kujo's hair fell back, in Toru Watanabe's eyes, and she looked at him. Don't talk to me before I give you permission. She said coldly. How long will that take? Can you give me a specific time? Toru Watanabe asked. About 10 minutes. Toru Watanabe tightened his grip. Miki, I'll work during the new year to buy you a bag. Miki Kujo waved his hand off her shoulder and said to Rin Kiyono, Men are all single-celled creatures. She seemed to be complaining, but it felt like she was showing off. Thank you, Kujo-san. I've learned a lot. Rin Kiyono looked at Toru Watanabe after she finished speaking. She had the kindest and most charming smile on her face and angelic wings on her back, in Toru Watanabe's eyes. Watanabe-san, you can say anything to me in these 10 minutes. I'll chat with you. Really? You're not lying to me? Rin Kiyono turned to look at Miki Kujo and said with a smile, men are indeed single-celled creatures. Miki Kujo stepped on Toru Watanabe's shoe. No, I'm just to dash. Shut up. Miki Kujo pulled on Toru Watanabe's tie and said with a murderous tone, did I give you permission to talk to me? I don't think so. She kicked him again. Ladies, don't you think I'm very pitiful for teasing me like this? Stop pretending to be pitiful. You must be very pleased with yourself for flirting with two beautiful ladies, right? Miki Kujo said with a sharp look in her eyes. Absolutely not. Lies. Rin Kiyono immediately exposed him. I'll tell you. Toru Watanabe was very dissatisfied and innocent. Why do the two of you always team up to deal with me? Miki Kujo loosened his tie and pushed him away. When the two of them were too close, she felt that his saliva would splatter on her face. Although he had kissed her face many times, that was another matter. If you cut ties with Rin Kiyono, I'll spoil you, she promised with a smile. That's definitely a lie, right? Toru Watanabe looked at her. Miki Kujo stopped smiling and snorted, but she didn't deny it. If you cut ties with Kujo-san, Rin Kiyono fell into deep thought with her hand on her chin, and finally sighed helplessly. Sorry, I can't help but scold you. I'm already satisfied that you know it's scolding. But you seem to be enjoying it. Rin Kiyono pretended to be confused. I've told you before, I'm a person with a delicate mind. Please pay attention to your words. Seeing the two of them talking back and forth, Miki Kujo narrowed her eyes and smiled. Watanabe. Here. From now on, you're not allowed to say a single word. Dear customer, it's already wrapped. The salesgirl came over with an exquisite shopping bag. After leaving the store, Miki Kujo changed her strategy. Instead of buying a gift for Kiyono-san, why don't you buy one for my Watanabe? She said. Watanabe, what do you want? Toru Watanabe pointed at his mouth. That's enough. Miki Kujo looked at him with disdain. If you're really that obedient, I'll take your surname after we get married. I don't care about my surname, Toru Watanabe said. But the main Kujo family is Miki, you're the only one. How glib. What do you want? Let me think. Why do I feel like I don't lack anything? Toru Watanabe really couldn't think of what he needed. I'll buy you some bath gel in the winter. How about you take a nice bath? Miki Kujo suggested. Why did the style suddenly change? Was it a branded bag just now? Toru Watanabe felt a little strange and unaccustomed. Kujo milady and bath gel were two words that couldn't possibly be mentioned in the same sentence. It doesn't matter if the gift is expensive or not. Practical things are more considerate. That's true. Toru Watanabe nodded. But if we exchange gifts, maybe someone else will get the bath gel. Wait, doesn't that mean I might get that ugly bag? You can give it to your mother. Rin Kiyono thoughtfully offered a solution. My mom definitely won't accept such an expensive gift. That can't be right. That bag is so old-fashioned. Maybe my mom won't recognize it. Miki Kujo suddenly reached out and grabbed Toru Watanabe's tie. Cut the crap. Go buy the bath gel. I can walk by myself. Did I give you permission to speak? Did the order suddenly take effect again? Rin Kiyono arrogantly brushed her long hair away from her shoulders and said with an arrogant smile, Some people are jealous. Some people are jealous. It seems that my cuteness is indeed above everyone else. When it came to appearance, Miki Kujo couldn't pretend that she didn't hear anything. She let go of Toru Watanabe and crossed her arms in front of her chest, revealing a disdainful expression. Narcissism is a small matter. I'm just afraid that I'm blind and can't see someone more beautiful than myself. Ah, you want to compare appearance with me? Kujo-san, I admire your courage. Kiyono-san, you dare to say such words to me. It seems that you're quite blind. Meaningless argument. Rin Kiyono turned to Toru Watanabe. Watanabe-san, between me and Kujo-san, who's cuter? Do you even need to ask? You're both cute in my heart. Toru Watanabe answered without thinking. Miki Kujo's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Rin Kiyono, on the other hand, couldn't stand it. Was there something wrong? The system verified 9 points. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.